Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council members. If you can please have a seat, Madam Clerk. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I'm very happy to see you this evening and everyone here. It is about 7:04. No, actually it's 7:01. I'd like to get our meeting started. So if everyone can please have a seat. Mr. BA, is Corporation Counsel here? Okay, very well. Okay, are we ready, council members? Okay. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Paterson Council, I welcome you to the regular meeting of the Municipal Council. Meeting of the City Council will now come to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, Madam President, good evening. Roll call for Municipal Council regular meeting June 25th, 2019 at 7 p.m. Councilman Abdelaziz. Here. Councilwoman Cotton. Councilman Jackson. Councilman Khalid.
Here.
Councilman McCoy. Here. Councilman Mims.
Here.
Councilman Rivera.
Here.
Councilman Velez. Madam President.
Present.
Thank you. Madam President and honorable council members, this evening we have with us to render the prayer would be by the Reverend Dr. James Kuykendall from the Agape Christian Ministry Church in Paterson. And to lead us also in the flag salute will be Commissioner Charlotte Shepherdson. Everyone, please rise for the prayer.
Please rise.
Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you and we give you praise for this day. For this is the day that you have made, and we rejoice in it. We thank you that you have blessed us yet to be in the land of the living. Your word says that we ought to pray for all men, but especially those who are in authority. So we lift up our municipal government, we lift up our mayor, our city council, all those who are in leadership and all those who govern in this city. We pray, God, that as they seek you, you will give them wisdom, that they will make decisions that will be in line with thy divine purpose and plan. Father, we pray for this city, the city of Paterson, the third largest city in the state of New Jersey. Father, we pray that your purpose and your plan and your vision for such a time as this will come to pass. We come against all discrepancies and disunity and all those things that would cause us to be divided. Father, we pray that you will unite us as one voice, that they will govern and that they will make the best decisions on behalf of the residents here in the city of Paterson. We pray for our safety. We pray for our police department. We pray for all men and women who are in authority. And we pray that thy will be done in this city. In Jesus' name, amen.
We will now have a moment of silence for our troops, any loved ones that we've lost, and also let's also keep in prayer all of the families who lost their home this morning and the firefighters who were hurt. You may have a seat. Madam Clerk, can you please read the statement of compliance?
Yes, Madam President. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law 2018 to 2019, regular meeting date June 25th, 2019, time 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was compiled and disseminated in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law in the following manner. 1. The annual notice of regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council was compiled for the year 2018 to 2019 on or about July 1, 2018. 2, a schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2018 to 2019 was duly transmitted on or about July 1st, 2018 to the North Jersey Herald News, The Record, the Arabic Voice, Italian Voice, Passaic Council Pulse, the Americana News, Cascada International, El Especial, the Paterson Press, and the City Post News, in addition to any other publication duly requesting such notices. 3, the schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2018 to 2019 was prominently posted in the lobby of City Hall, first floor, in the place reserved for the announcements of this type. 4, the schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2018 to 2019 was duly filed with the municipal clerk. 5, a copy of the schedule of regular meetings of the Municipal Council was mailed to any person who requested and to pay the fee authorized by the Open Public Records Act. Madam President, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Okay, can I please have payment of bills? Can I have a motion?
Thank you, Madam President. Summary of disbursement, we have no payroll this week. Total payments is, total bill payments is $1,269,944.59. I recommend it get paid, so move it.
Okay, do I have a second? Moved by Councilman Kalik, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on the summary of disbursements.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call and payment of bills in the amount of $1,269,944.59. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Payment of bills is hereby adopted.
Very good, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, at this time, I'll take the consent agendas, items 3 through 11.
Yes, Madam President. Next items on the agenda is our consent agenda items 3 through 11. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. The items listed on the consent agenda are number 3 through 11. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter. A motion?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call on the consent agenda, items 3 through 11.
Yes. Roll call the consent agenda items 3 through 11. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy? Yes. Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Items 3 through 11, the consent agenda hereby adopted.
Very good, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, I'll take the second reading ordinance, item number 1.
Yes, next item is item number 1. Second reading ordinance, public hearing is required. It's one ordinance amending and supplementing one ordinance number 05044, which provides for Phase 3 of the combined sewer outflow project, theretofore finally adopted by the City Council of the City of Paterson, the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, on June 14, 2005, as previously amended and supplemented to amend the description to increase the appropriation by $2,200,000 and to increase the authorization of bonds or notes by $2,095,278. Finance ordinance number 19033.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Abdelaziz. The public hearing is now open for item number 1 on second reading.
See none, move to close.
Move to close by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilman Kalik. Roll call to close the public hearing on item number 1 for second reading.
Yes. Roll call to close the public hearing on item number 1. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy? Yes. Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Public hearing is hereby closed for item number 1.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, I will take item number 2.
No, to adopt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Can I
Roll
fin-
call, Madam Clerk,
Yes.
on item number 1 for
Yes.
second reading.
Roll call on item number 1 for second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy? Yes. Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Not yet.
Yeah.
We haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay. My vote is yes.
No, we did the public hearing. We're now voting.
Oh, we're voting?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank
You said yes, Madam
Oh,
Clerk.
your vote is yes? Thank you. Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Item number 1 is hereby adopted on second reading.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, I'll take item number 2.
Next item is item number 2, resolution. Introduction of the 2019 budget of the Bunker Hill Industrial Park Special Improvement District. Resolution addressing 2019 budget procedure requirements for the Bunker Hill Industrial Park Special Improvement District, authorizing reading by title only, authorizing budget introduction, directing the clerk to advertise it and schedule a public hearing, and directing the assessor to prepare an assessment roll of properties within the district. Finance Resolution 19357.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second? Second. Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Kalik. Roll call on item number 2.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 2 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman McCoy. Yes. Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Item number 2 is hereby adopted.
Thank you very much.
Public hearing will be held for this resolution. Public hearing will be held at the next regular meeting on July 30th, 2019 at 7 p.m. along with the budget, with the approval of pending the approval of the annual meeting notice scheduled for July 1st.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Madam Clerk, I'll take item number 16.
Next item is item number 16. Item number 16, resolution. Resolution designating July 5th, the day of Larry Doby's debut as the first African-American player in the American League as Larry Doby Day, sponsored by Councilwoman Dr. Lelisa Mims and co-sponsored by all members of the Honorable Municipal Council. City Council Resolution 19371.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on item number 16.
Roll call on item number 16 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
I just want to commend my council colleague, Councilwoman Dr. Lelisa Mims, for bringing this up. Larry Doby does deserve the recognition from the council. I just want to take it one step further to the entire council. Years ago, when I was on my way to a Giants game, if you drive along Giants Stadium, you see a little sign pretty much faded out that says Larry Doby Highway. And I've always said, why is Larry Doby Highway in East Rutherford, New Jersey? And I think we really need to put a resolution together urging our legislators down in Trenton to rename Route 20, where Larry Doby Field is located. So when kids play their games at Eastside Park at Larry Doby Field, they'll say, Eastside Park, whatever number, Larry Doby Highway in the city of Paterson. So I have the resolution. It was passed in 1997. I think we should bring that same resolution and tell them to amend it. Instead of Route 120 in East Rutherford, we should make it Route 20 in the city of Paterson and really give him his props. So my vote is yes, and I look forward to getting the support from the council. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy? Yes. Councilman Mims?
I'll support that, Al. Good evening, Paterson. It is an honor. For those that know and those that don't, Larry Doby is he's a very high-profile figure as it relates to baseball. He broke the color barrier for Negro baseball. We know that he's done so many things, not just for African Americans, but for anyone that plays baseball all over the world. So it's an honor to be able to sponsor this on tonight. It's a nationally recognized day already for the country, and now Paterson will be added to that list. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Congratulations, Councilwoman at Large, Lisa Mims. Also, I want to congratulate all those organizations that have been moving forward donation to keep the life of Larry Doby, remembering the city of Paterson, especially in the Larry Doby field in the East Side Park section. So my vote is yes.
Thank you. Madam President,
Yes.
the vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Item number 16 is hereby adopted.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, at this time, we will open the public portion.
Yes, Madam President.
Madam Clerk, we will not be adding anyone else to the public portion once we start.
Okay, ma'am. This time, the public portion is now open. Our first speaker is Mr. Rucker. Mr.
Madam
Ernest
Clerk, how
Rucker.
many speakers do we have?
10, 17
17.
speakers.
Okay. Madam Clerk,
Yes.
if we call a name and they're not in the chambers, we will continue with the next.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Rucker, please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Ernest Rucker, Paterson, New Jersey. Last night at Kennedy High School, I was able to hear some of the plans concerning the Hinchcliffe Stadium project. What jumped out at me, and I did have a conversation about this earlier with a friend of mine, but it still troubles me. What jumped out at me was part of the development agreement that states landlord shall profit and any with other developers 50% of the net profits from Hinchcliffe Stadium. Now, we're giving over $7 million to the developer as part of the developer fee. The developer also has use of that stadium for profit-making items throughout the year other than the 180 days. And as my friend did explain to me, during that wintertime period, of course, there's not going to be a whole lot of things going on at that stadium. My problem was some of the questions I asked last night were never answered. They looked and they said a few things and moved on. What the mayor's mistake was, one, going to Kennedy High School to have a town meeting and nobody there. He came there to show the support that he had for this project. But there were so many questions asked from the supporters that were germane to this project. When you use us for your political purposes, I get a little ticked off. I've watched this project and also the project on Ward Street, which we will be talking about very quickly, of that shady deal. The mayor has to understand, from my understanding, that he's going to bypass this council and go straight to the state. I advise him tonight, do not make that monumental mistake. If you bypass your council, the little bit of support you have on it, you're going to erode it and it's going to leave you. We need a mayor now to act like a mayor. The project down by that stadium, which I support, and I've been supporting for 30 years, the drug use, the prostitution, the dirty streets need to be cleaned up first. We need a mayor We need a mayor to start going down the street right in front of this building here. And the drug use, and the sleeping on the streets, and the panhandling that's taking place on a day-to-day basis. He needs to ride down Van Houten Street. Where more prostitution goes on there, they work in shifts. I don't need a mayor that's doing photo ops and all types of other things other than governing this city. I'm not mad at the mayor, but the same way I questioned Joey Torres throughout his tenure, I'm questioning some of the things that's happening with this mayor. I'm going to take a few minutes here to say this. If the mayor wants full support for his project, he better not bypass this council, because every project he brings forth will be scrutinized. If you have a problem with the city council, you sit down. When he sat in that seat over there, he was a council person and worked with his colleagues. All of a sudden, he no longer can do that. Well, Mr. Mayor, stop the backroom deals. Stop working in the shadows and in the darkness, and be upfront with this council and the people that elected you. I didn't support him, but I supported him once he became mayor because he's our mayor. We need to have truth and transparency. He promised us last night transparency. I want to see it, and I want to see it now. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next speaker?
Yes, ma'am. Next speaker is Mr. Corey Teague. Mr. Teague?
Good evening, members of the council. For
evening.
those, I don't know if there's any sound on here yet. but
Ming, we don't have sound?
all right, so I did inform people on Facebook that they can go to my Facebook page that has been dubbed TTV. They can go there now and they can watch. And, I'll live stream. I'll offer my services until the system gets back up and running the way it's supposed to, free of charge, of course. Yeah, free. Hey, first thing I wanted to mention is that it was very disheartening. We have a stadium, yes, we do, and it's a historical site. It was very disheartening that it had to be dragged through the mud because of political pandering and playing political games. That's the real tragedy here. We do have a crown jewel there. That is a beautiful stadium. It needs to be fixed, of course, but the process that they were going about to do it was flawed. That contract was flawed. That lease agreement that they didn't even put forth, they weren't forthcoming with any of that. You had the assemblywoman there last night preaching about the stadium and think about the kids, but nobody wanted to open up the lease agreement and show the people the details in the agreement. Nobody in this room who owns a house would sign a mortgage without being fully aware of what's in that mortgage. Nobody in here would do that. You would at all. There will be no closing until you understand everything that is required of you and everything that's in that agreement. Nobody in here would sign a contract with any company or organization without being able to fully vet everything in the contract, including the small print. None of us. We looked at a contract that had no dates on it. He had no dates at all. There was no requirement as to what day we're going to start, how long is it going to take us to finish the stadium, what date can the city council expect the stadium to be ready for the children to use it, none of that. We didn't even know whether he was going to do the apartments first or the stadium first. There's nothing there. How can you give away $40 million for such a vague, empty contract with language in there that had no specifics? I do thank the council for standing up tall. Most importantly, I thank the council president for coming after this administration and making them work on behalf of the people. That's why I'm supporting her for re-election as president of this council. That's why I'm supporting her, because I see a fighter in her and I see that she's ready to roll up her sleeves and fight to the dirt to make sure that no administration comes here and takes advantage of our people. I can support that.
Thank you.
I also want to say the mayor went through hell and high water and fought tooth and nail for this developer to come in here. And he hasn't said a thing about Jameek. Not a thing. Why couldn't we get a community meeting about what happened to Jameek? Why couldn't we get some phone calls and get some action and get some emergency meetings here in the chambers? Why couldn't we get some of that, Mr. Mayor? Could it be because Jameek met with you shortly before he died? That's why you were running around saying you had meningitis and he might have had it. There's a lot of things that the public doesn't know. A lot of things that the public doesn't know about this situation. No response is a response. Remember that. The silence is deafening. And Dr. King said once that there comes a time when silence becomes betrayal. So if you're a mayor of the people and you're trying to bring Paterson together as one, then it's time for you to sit down with Jameek's family and call an emergency meeting on that to get justice for the family, because we won't let up until Jameek gets justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Teague.
Council President,
Yes.
my phone's been getting a lot of text messages about not being able to hear.
We already got that.
So I don't know if Ming is working on it. I just wanted to inform you.
Councilman, that's what we said before,
And
that,
it's still
and
not
we're gonna
working, so-
continue, and we're gonna
Okay.
continue, but we need to continue the meeting. Ming? Do we know when? Do we? Okay, very much, thank you. Thank you, Ming, thank you, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Next speaker.
Madam Clerk,
yes.
next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Ms. Dorothy Martin. Ms. Dorothy?
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
Hope everybody's feeling okay today. I was thinking that we were going to have the developers here today. That's what we were told last night, that we would have, they would be here today.
Didn't understand why the mayor said that yesterday. There was no meeting set for today. So
But
I
that's what he told
apologize.
us.
I apologize, but I don't know why he said that.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was at the meeting last night, and there were many things, as Mr. Rucker said, that were just vague. There was nothing that seemed to, that stuck out and grabbed me about us. There's no us in these plans. There's no us. There's them and their plan. Not us, the city of Paterson, the children, or our profits. I'm not a great math person, but I can tell you what, 7,000 seats and 250 parks don't match. We will never make money with 250 or 275 parking spaces and some housing with people all around the stadium complaining and hollering and the police screaming and yelling. What kind of a stadium is that? I've been all over. I have relatives. I have babies. We got so many babies that played baseball, basketball, football, and every other kind. I've been to stadiums all over New Jersey, and I have never seen a stadium that didn't have enough parking, or quite a bit of parking, and not a whole bunch of houses crowded around it so that they can complain about us. We've been hearing nothing but complaints about us for a long time. Most of them are unwarranted, really, because where we live and how we live makes a difference about what we do. So I believe that when these plans are made available, and they should be made available to everyone to see, I believe we're not going to really agree with all of the plans. I agree that we need to have this done, yes, but I don't agree that we need to come down from what we should have for any developer anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Ms. Bracy, Regina Bracy.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
How are you? I guess you know I'm going to speak about Hinchcliffe too, but I am. You know, it's disheartening that we were at a town hall meeting and we weren't privy to an agreement from the schools or the contract that they proposed to the city for the tax credits. Now, I don't know a lot about tax credits, but I'm pretty sure before I leave here tonight, I'll have it figured out. But one thing I'm gonna say is that that I supported the mayor. Yes, I did. And I still support the mayor. But one thing that I said at his inauguration was that I support the people first. And that I wasn't gonna always agree with him, because if we support you, we're supposed to be your balance. And you said that you needed our help. And I think that this is one of those times where you need the people's help. Because one thing I know about Paterson is that we're very valuable. And our stadium sat empty for 20 years. And we maintained that. So why would we just give it away and not make a profit from day one at 100%?
That's right.
Because we're putting the most to the project. And when I looked at the funding that they were leveraging, because I write grants too, you know, I looked at the funding that they were leveraging. And most of the funding was other governmental programs. So what makes the project so special that we got to give it away? I would like to see the council and the mayor, maybe the cabinet, because those are the people who we elected in. Each one of your wards, the city collectively, we voted all of you in because we felt that you were the right fit for the job for this season. But remember, all seasons change. And we are paying attention. And we would like to see you guys work together because we feel as though you're competent enough for the job. We feel as though the mayor's competent enough for the job. We feel as though each one of the cabinet members that were selected is competent of the job. But the disconnect comes at is, who are each one of you doing the job for? Is it for us, the people who voted you in, who are being forced and faced with high market rent every day? I'm seeing children and families crowd up in apartments because they can't afford a $6,000 move-in money. But I had to see a plan last night where we want to build these luxurious houses around Hinchcliffe Stadium, where they are going to complain about the noise. I grew up as a child up into the 8th grade with that stadium open, getting cut by the fiberglass seats. I know. They're gonna complain about the noise, so why put more houses there? But if we wanna build a nice stadium and a nice project, right? How about we claim eminent domain? Build some parking. Open our stadium. I think that's worth $40 million. And then we make 100% for our schools. We don't have to lay off over 200 teachers. The taxpayers don't have to get a 14.1% tax increase. We balance our scale a little and we're not so dependent on the state.
Can you please wrap up?
That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you. You've made very good points. Madam Clerk,
Yes,
next
Madam
speaker,
President.
please.
Next speaker is Ms. Dot Martin. Martin? Take it out. Okay. Ms. Linda Galashaw.
Ooh.
Good evening. I'm going to talk
Good
on
evening.
a couple of different points this evening. One, I agree with the mall that, I agree with the stadium protesters that were here tonight that we don't have a good plan, and the whole thing has been somewhat of a rush, and we need to back up and reconsider some things. I was really surprised to hear that it included housing also when we have such limited parking. The other issue I want to talk about is the rent here in Paterson. When will we get the rent leveling board really in place to do something to address the problems we're having? I'm working with a number of seniors that are being misplaced. Some are forced to leave Paterson after being a resident here more than 50 years. We were at the Freedom Village, and we were told that the minimum rent is $1,032, and you must have an income of $32,000. Now, if we look at that, if someone has worked a good amount of time and had an income of $52,000, once they retire, the most they'll have is $36,000. So how do we expect our seniors who are long time retired, we're talking 70, 80 years old, that didn't have the capability to make $50,000 a year, how can they afford that type of housing? Where is low-income housing for our seniors? That needs to be addressed. We're still fighting things that are going on that are not pleasing to the seniors at Freedom Village. I don't understand how the computer room has been shut down, the pool tables have been removed. How's this happening? The rent was sold to those seniors with those amenities, and now they've been removed. I don't think that's right. And I don't know why the Fourth Ward is not addressing that. I spoke to Mrs. Cotton about it, and she said that she was going to look into it. I'm just waiting to hear what is the cause of that, because those things should be replaced. If outside family is using the facilities, then find those that you find using the facilities. But to take it from every one of them after they're paying that much rent, I don't think that's fair at all. And I want to talk about these little hats that the mayor has been handing out. I myself was a great supporter of Mayor Andre Sayer, and he has turned out to be very disappointing, very disappointing. He's handing out these little hats called deputy mayor to the black community while he's handing out real gifts to other communities. We are being suckered. We are being suckered over a title that comes with no money. It's no real power. It's no real position. But he's buying us for peanuts. I think he probably got straight A's in Black history. He learned how to hit you right at the hip. I'm calling them out. I'm tired of the camera shots. You can be at any event in a flash, but you can't be where the crime is. You can't be where people are on the streets sleeping and taking down our community. Something has got to be done for real, and I want the black community to start addressing that. Start asking for your portion. We're entitled to it too. The mayor talks about one Paterson, it's becoming 6 Patersons. Each council person is pushing for their own ward. Where is the one Paterson?
Thank you very much. Ruby? 30 seconds, Ruby, please.
But yeah, thank you, Council President. And Ms. Galashaw, I remember you had called me about that, and I was looking into that, and some of the stuff that I heard, I don't want to say on television. You know, I'd rather talk to you in private than to put it out there on TV. I always was not for Freedom Village because it had 3 components in there. I didn't like building a building with 3 components: Section 8, senior housing, and the private piece, which is 1/3 of each. So those that are in the other part, and I said what happens is that someone who's paying $1,000 a month lives next door to someone who's paying $150. So then they start disagreeing. But I did look into the other thing about the pool tables, and I'm not going to say it on television. They do have a new regional manager out of Philadelphia from Penrose, and I will have a sidebar conversation with you, Ms. Galashaw, about Freedom Village.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, President. Thank you very much, Councilwoman Cotton. Mr. VP.
You're so kind, Council President. I just have to make a point. Ms. Galashaw pointed out the fact that the Fourth Ward isn't addressing it. I think that Councilwoman Cotton, and I know it wasn't meant in that fashion, but just want to go on record, because Councilwoman Cotton, it goes extremely hard for her residents. But we have to make sure that we're pinpointing where the issues are. When you bring in a third-party developer who then takes 300 plus so vouchers, they're getting HUD financing, they're getting RAD agreements, they're getting all these subsidies to build housing. We just tore down projects only to allow people to build them back all over the other parts of the community. I'm hoping that you guys are also at the Board of Commissioners meetings for the Housing Authority. And that's where these issues need to be addressed. They're allowing these situations to go through without considering our community members. And the case of Fifth Avenue being sold for $1.4 million for 17 acres is another example of how we're being taken advantage of. So to add to your point, thank you, Council President, for a moment, but it's not the council who doesn't have the wherewithal to address all of these issues. There's various members in the community departments and that are running amok, and that's an example of one.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Thank you. Madam Clerk? Madam Clerk, next speaker, please.
Sorry. Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Murad Savain.
I'm sorry, the name?
Murad Savain. He's coming. He's there. Mr. Savain. What you were saying, his name was not in here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How you all doing this evening?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Good evening.
Okay.
Can you hear me better? There you go. Recently, back in 2018, a factory was sold behind me, 17,000 square foot factory with a 20,000 square foot parking lot. This guy went in front of the Board of Adjustments with Alan Mariconda back in the 10th of October of 18. He brought in all kinds of stipulations where the hours of operation, what kind of machinery he was going to bring in, and how he was going to set the building up. Your Board of Adjustments brought in one building and set it up with this guy, and he shut down another operation, which is my operation, with all my employees that have left. He has vibrated my ground day and night. The stipulation from the board was that he wasn't supposed to be open on Saturdays. And he came vibrating my grounds, vibrating my building, putting toxic odors into the air. Hours of operation, 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We finally had the police involved. Glenn Torrey finally sent him a letter. I called up Glenn Torrey. He refuses to talk to me. I don't know why, but he refuses to talk to me. I've been coming around my place in the mornings, 5 o'clock in the morning. The machines are on, the grounds are vibrating, the odors are in the air, and noise is going from 2 blocks away with the cyclone separator. Last Monday, I had called up the Paterson Police Department at approximately 6:10 in the morning. It's all on recording. A police officer didn't come until 8 o'clock. So I had to hire an assigned officer to come in at 4:30 in the morning and wait for the machines to go on at 6 o'clock in the morning. And the neighbors are coming up to me and asking me, Dave, what are you doing there at 6 o'clock in the morning? And I'm telling everybody, I ain't doing nothing because I'm not even there. So I finally got there, and again, he's vibrating the grounds at 6 o'clock in the morning. The neighbors are coming up to me and asking me what's going on, okay? The guys put 41 criminal charges on me.
Council President.
Wait.
3 criminal charges on me for illegally trespassing on his property, disorderly conduct, and harassment, to talk to him nicely to correct his problems. But he refuses to correct any of the problems, and he puts me in a box and criminally charges me. I have everything
Okay,
in the
Mr.
briefcase.
Dave, let's not discuss that piece of it. Your time is up, and I know you sent me an email, I read it, all right? We definitely, Mr. BA, these are things that we need to address specifically because of what he is alleging in terms of what I'm hearing and what I read, a violation of, I guess, the terms of the Board of Adjustment approvals, where when they approve a business, you know, they give you certain times, you have to put in a certain time when your business is gonna open and close, and so I think these are things that need to be addressed, but if we could do a sidebar so you can, Mr. BA, we have our constituent services here as well, because there's an enforcement issue here.
Council
Okay?
President.
One moment, Councilwoman.
Well, there's
Okay.
also toxic odors that are getting
Well,
in
that's
the
another,
air.
and we need
there's
to
times I have to shut
community
down my business
improvements
and go home.
Okay, so that's why I want us
Right.
for you to speak to the BA, because community improvement, actually, do we have a director here? Yes, he is, right back there. So we'll be addressing those issues, okay? I know that you said you wanted to come and put it in the record as you have today, but I really do want you to have a sidebar with our BA.
Can I have them right now?
Yes, yes.
I was
Councilwoman
just-
Cotton?
Yes, I have spoken to you several times, and I saw you on Saturday when we was doing the smoke detectors. You was in your car lot on Saturday morning, roughly around 11 o'clock. I have walked up and down that neighborhood, and no one has said nothing yet, but I just wanted to stop you because I know now, I stopped over there to that business, and you guys are in court.
Right,
And I don't
that's why
want
I don't wanna
something.
discuss.
Right, no, I wanted him to understand that this segment is being taped, and you are in court now with this company. So, and you're gonna talk to to our DA to see what's going on, but I didn't want you to go to, but I was over there Saturday, and like I said, I walked up and down that block, several blocks. I got
Councilwoman,
16, Lawrence, I got all of them over there. And
Councilwoman?
and I got all your emails, I got all your messages still on my phone. I have not taken them off.
Councilwoman?
And so, no.
No,
Wait, Council
Councilwoman.
President. No, but you're gonna talk to our BA and tell him what the situation is. I'm not sure what the charges are. Well, both of y'all brought charges against each other. So we'll
Councilwoman.
see. That's all I want
Thank
to say.
you.
We'll talk to them.
Thank you very
That's
much,
right.
Councilwoman. You don't, sidebar with our BA, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Madam Clerk, next
yes,
speaker, please.
Yes, ma'am. Next speaker is Mr. David Spongian.
Who?
David Spongian.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Sorry.
My name is David Spungen. I'm only a 2-year resident of Paterson.
Okay.
And so I don't have any of the history that many of you have spoken about. But I've made an investment in Paterson myself. You only need to look at my tax bills to know that.
Wow.
Thank you. But one of the reasons I came here was because I believed in the potential of the city and its renaissance. It looked to its past to build on to its future. Hinchliffe Stadium is a National Historic Landmark. The U.S. government has proclaimed that it possesses national significance in commemorating the history of the United States of America. Yet here it sits with no purpose, with no tax revenues, with nothing. Everyone in this room knows it's a very complicated situation. And in fact, in 2010, Leonard Zaks, who's the president of the Hamilton Partnership, said that resurrecting Hinchliffe would be more difficult now than it was to build the iconic stadium back during the Great Depression. So it should come as no surprise that after 22 years of laying dormant, that it took a special set of unique circumstances to breathe life back into this project. And at the core of all this are these tax credits that go away at the end of next week. But that's what breathed the life back into this and the potential of bringing Hinchliffe back into the community. The council is on record 9-0 in support of the concept of Hinchliffe Stadium being renovated. There's no dispute. But yet last week it voted 5-4 to reject the Hinchliffe lease extension, which should be a part of the city's application for the tax credit. Now, I've heard that some members were bothered by the process, and they felt there to be a lack of transparency. I've heard that in this room tonight. I've also heard that when the mayor decided to call a special meeting, that there was offense taken by the council. I read a quote that said, how dare he disrespect the municipal council that way. I'm here to say that as a Paterson citizen, I feel an element of disrespect, because I don't feel that there's ever been an honest discussion about the merits of the proposal in front of the city council. As for transparency, back in April, I attended a meeting with maybe 5 other people that was conducted by the National Historic Preservation Committee, where there was a complete presentation made, and the tax credits were also being discussed. And I didn't know I had gone that long. But, but when the mayor scheduled, so let me just finish, I'm sorry.
You can wrap
by
up.
saying,
You can wrap up.
thank you very much, because I'm almost done. The idea that the mayor was possibly using this emergency situation to go forward with this, well, I know that that could be a problem. But what I ask you is, after 22 years as a dormant, useless facility, why is there an objection of taking the shot to see if this tax credit can be approved? Is it because there are so many other developers out there knocking on the door saying, please give us a chance? Where were they over the last 22 years? They've had plenty of time to figure that out. So now there is finally a path through the tax credit that could make some great economic sense for Hinchlife's rehabilitation. Is passing on that opportunity constitute an emergency? I've never spoken to anybody who participated in a Hinchliffe activity, sports event, graduation ceremony, that hasn't felt it to be a special moment in their life. Is it an emergency that there may never be another generation of Patersonians to have that experience, to know what it's like to own a piece of history, something tangible, to create pride in their city, to be a part of the community, committed to taking a leadership position in race relations? So let me conclude by respectfully asking that you reconsider your position to take another vote about the lease extension. That's not an approval of the project. It's giving the project a shot. And then if you can give them that, and fortunate enough to get it approved, find common ground with the administration. Work out a deal so that you can monitor all the objections that you've got about developers. But right now, there is no one else stepping up to the plate. Here's your chance.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Spungen. And this is not, Mr. Spungen, I'm going to address you quickly, and there's no rebuttal here, but as you said, no one's knocking on a door. No one was given an opportunity. Okay, there was no RFP given. Okay, this was handpicked. The administration picked who they wanted to do this redevelopment. There's no rebuttaling. I'm just sharing with you because you're saying that nobody's coming knocking down our doors and they were not given the opportunity. The other thing as well is that if you had all of the numbers and the intricacies of this project, I am sure that you would not be standing there defending it. Okay. It's about the people of Paterson, and we were elected, okay, to make sure that the people of Paterson are protected, okay, and it's taxpayers. So I just wanted to just say that I'd be happy to sit down with you on a one-on-one and explain all of the things, and then you would say something is wrong with this project. I want to see, and just to correct you, the tax credits do not expire July 1st. There has been an extension. I got a call from the state. They're going to be extended, so therefore, we have the opportunity to make it right, okay?
That's right.
Thank you.
Council President.
Thank you. Okay. No. I told you there's no rebuttal. I apologize. Because first and foremost, it's the same thing that I would say to the administration. Why did they wait? Why did they wait to the 5th hour to move forward, and now, after we voted it down, give us a lease agreement? Thank God we voted it down, because we were able then to get, I'm sorry, not the lease agreement, but the redevelopers agreement. And thank God that we got it after, because we were able to look at it and say something's not right. And even yesterday's presentation even gave us more information than we didn't have that was alarming. Alarming, to say, by far alarming. And so, you know, we can't talk about, it's about the kids, okay? But you're making $8 million in a redeveloper's fee. We can't say it's all about the kids, all right? We can't say we want affordable housing in an area that right now we're trying to revitalize and redevelop. That's not, bringing in low-income housing is not the correct way to do it. So there's a lot of things that are wrong. And just like Ms. Bracy said, I mean, something is wrong when you're talking about a project and you're saying, you know, 7,000 seats and 200 plus spots of parking. So there's a lot of things that we consider that we should have a say as a council. So do we want to see Hinchcliffe? Absolutely. Hinchcliffe will come back, okay, but it has to be done right. Councilman Velez?
I don't know, he said his name was?
Spungen.
Okay.
Spungen, Mr. Spungen.
Mr. Spungen. Sorry, I'm an individual that the protocol of this council in the past, the protocol on this council and the ethic that we use. I sit back in that seat where you were sitting there, almost 500, 600 meetings before being council member. And every time I used to come to that podium, I used to state Louis Velez and the address and where I live. To people who know, when I reference where you live and this and that, probably I could Google the address. You mentioned that you moved here 2 years ago. We're here probably 30 years before you. But you said, hold on, sir, I'm just going by your statement.
No, Mr. Spungen, there's no rebuttal when a council member is speaking.
Yeah, I'm just going by your statement. The reason I say this is because in the moment that you say your name and you say that you moved 2 years ago and then you paying a lot of taxes, that I could look at your tax bill. I didn't know that address, so I could Google it right away, how much you pay in taxes, where you live, and what property you have, to be able to talk about it. Now, the thing is that when you stand there and you go by an article, okay, a news article, okay, and trying to say that we are the one holding this development to move forward, or any project that the mayor want to put forward, hold on, with your statement probably leads to that. But I would just want to let you know something, sir. When you want to pay for watch a boxing event, right? And if you go to put it the first round and they knock your guy down, you're not going to enjoy your fight. You say, I pay with no reason. Now, in this case, we want to have the right fight, but when the taxpayer asks why we voted that way, we could have him an excuse and the right facts to move forward a project in the city of Paterson. This administration, without no remorse, I gotta say it, they started backwards. And we cannot start in this city moving forward, starting backwards. All the information coming down the drain is because we've been putting a block for more information. If we don't put that on the table, they never gonna give us information, and then we cannot give it to the right person that are the one that requested it, or the constituent that voted for us for this chair. That's all I just want to say.
Thank you very much.
Very quickly.
Thank you very much. Councilman Jackson? Councilman Jackson?
To the gentleman, I know you said you have a short period here, so I want to bring a few items to your attention. And I take my hat off to the collective, the council, for being learned council members, because most people sit on that side and they request to get elected, but they don't really understand the nuances of what's going on until you get here. But the council's made very many mistakes through years past. I'll give you just a couple. Pennington Park, the top Pennington Park. We redid the field. There was a concession stand built there. They built the concession stand the wrong way, where they put the concession stand on the street side, so young children going back and forward to the concession stand are now near the street, as opposed to being safely near the field. That's one mistake. If you go to any neighboring towns, They don't have those types of mistakes. The backstop. The backstop doesn't meet certain regulations, so we cannot play statewide and national championship games there because of the way the design of the backstop was made. Go down to the bottom of the field. Pennington Park. We have a lacrosse field. We have not one lacrosse team in this entire city, but yet we have a lacrosse field. When I spoke to the director of recreation, he said he was never consulted. So certain administrations make certain decisions without consulting with various parties, and that's what the balance of council and administration is. It's the checks and balances to make sure the small nuances are caught. A few years ago, we spent $1.4 million on a trailer. The council has now learned from that mistake. We didn't make that same mistake twice. We've even had new additions to the council to come on board to make sure that Buckley Park got done. On the agenda for that evening was a power washing bill to power wash City Hall for $350,000, but yet now, based on the council's directive and the council's consistent paying attention to meticulous detail, we now have a new field at Buckley Park. I'm happy the council did that. There's various decisions that the administration may make that may not be in the best interest of the community for various reasons, whether it's politically driven, whatever the case might be. The balance between council and administration is put in place for a purpose. So to negate that and say that the council had no authority or no right to say they felt disrespected because the process was mitigated is unfair, because the council is here for the checks and balances. And I can go on with lots of other mistakes where half of the roads were paved, or they're right here on Memorial Drive. We have a travesty where one lane has been there for 3 years because of a mistake made by the former administration. The council has to be the checks and balances. And I think the people's council president said it best. The people elected the council members to do that. If by any chance, 7 years down the line, this deal goes through and the community then begins to see, like many community members are now coming to the table, seeing things differently, guess who they're going to blame? They're not going to blame the administration or other members of the public. They're going to blame the council. So I'll rest it there. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Thank you. Councilman Rivera, please. Councilman, you can't do that, sir. You cannot speak over. Councilman Rivera.
Yes, so we were presented with a lease. We were elected to make informed decisions on behalf of the people. And we were presented with a lease that didn't provide us much information. It was just a lease, and we're fortunate in this city that although we don't have a say the way these tax credits are set up, with the parking authority being the redevelopment agency, this was a tool that we had, this lease, to make sure that we could hold the administration accountable, at least with this one project. What is disturbing is, we've been asking for information, and the more information we get, the worse it looks. And that's disturbing. Some people attended a meeting yesterday. Actually, supporters of this administration attended a meeting yesterday, last night, and they asked questions, which no answers were provided to some of the questions. So I understand, you know, if you haven't done your research and your homework, yes, we all want to see the Hinchcliffe rebuilt, but not at the way it's being done right now and the way they're utilizing these tax credits. It's abusive what is going on here. It is abusive. And people got to realize what is going on. I just want to leave it at that for now.
Look, we can't go ahead and move forward and enter and just say, you know, let's do this deal with $1, okay? We can't allow that in this city. The city has already put close to $4 million, and in that redevelopment agreement, they should be reimbursing us for that. That's not part of it. There's so many things so wrong. And like I said, Mr. Spunkin, I would love to sit down. I'll show you the numbers, and you'll say the council did the right thing. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Next speaker, please.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Mr. Bob Connell. Bob, is he here?
Next speaker, Council.
Next speaker is Mr. Errol Carr.
Okay. Mr. Carr?
Paterson, New Jersey. Good evening, Madam President. Good evening to the council.
Good evening.
I'm here this evening to address one issue and to extend an invitation. So let me just start here. About a year ago, there was a noise ordinance in the city that if you're doing any outdoor activities or you're doing a political campaign, you could come to the council, to the clerk's office, you pay $30, and you get a permit for noise. Somehow, I don't know if it's from the state or it's just a local decision made by this council, the ordinance was rescinded. There is no more requirement for it. May 18th, rather, the Jamaica Organization of New Jersey, we're putting on a fish fry. And this fish fry was not in a residential area. In fact, it was in a commercial area. I did not know the level of the noise that was being made by the music. However, the police officers rode up on us. And she said, I'm going to give you guys a ticket. She never, engaged us in a conversation and said, turn the music down. Her first words to us was that she was going to give us a ticket. We spent half an hour with her trying to convince her, and we were not able to. She gave us a ticket. The problem is, this was on a Saturday evening, 6:30 in the evening. 6:30. I understand that the city needs money. But punishing people in this way should not be the way we approach it. My recommendation is simply this: bring back the noise ordinance. Increase the cost. Increase it. We were paying $30. If you want to increase it by $20. But we cannot victimize organization and people who want to have a little fun in their backyard, say you can't make a noise, you can't have your music. If you're going to give us a ticket, then you got to tell me, you got to show me how this is measured, where we were in terms of the decibel, so that everybody can be comfortable. But we cannot victimize people this way. We need to, make an adjustment to it. I don't know if this is the purview of this council or it's a state, but please, whatever it is, we need to have this adjusted.
Thank you.
Quickly.
No.
On,
I got the answer for him.
She's the chair.
on July 6th.
I know what the answer is.
Okay.
On July 6th, the Jamaica Organization of New Jersey will be holding its 6th annual Jam Fest at Eastside Park. We are inviting the entire Paterson to come out because this is where you get the authentic Jamaica jerk chicken. All right? Jerk pork.
Festival.
All right, festival.
Which one is that, Mom?
I thought it was at Councilman
Okay.
McCoy's house. Councilman
All right,
McCoy, I
it
thought
will
you had the
be a fun
authentic
day
jerk
for the-
chicken.
Okay.
I'm getting confused here.
Fun day for the entire family, all right?
Okay.
There'll be a lot of things for the kids and adults alike.
Thank you very much,
Council President.
Mr. Carr. Councilman Abdulaziz says that he has his spot for jerk chicken, but I don't know.
That was at Councilman McCoy's house, but I guess it's not the
I don't
real
know, 'cause
stuff.
I got
that
my
day.
spot.
Council President.
Wait. 1 moment, please, council members. I know that Councilman Rivera asked for the floor, Councilwoman Cotton, and then Councilman Velez. Please make it quick. Councilman Rivera.
I just want to say something briefly. I want to get a report from the administration. Now, it is a year later. We took office last July. We still have the same situation. People are texting me at home, right? The public, not everyone could make it to the
Can't hear.
meetings. There's people that like to be informed of what is going on in city government, but they're not able to, to take part in what's going on because there's no sound. What do we need to do to get this fixed?
We're getting messages.
We put the resources in place, from my understanding. If we don't have the staff to do it, then we need to maybe look into bringing someone in to just fix that, because I believe that's very important. I leave it at that, but we need to address that issue immediately.
Okay, thank you, Madam President, but I'm going to answer Mr. Earl Carr's question about the $30 for a loudspeaker permit. We passed an ordinance, we passed something in Health and Human Services that the state forced us to rescind. The state forced us to, not forced us, but the other law that we put in place rescinded that $30 loudspeaker permit. But we can revisit it, Mr. Kerr, when the reorganization comes back again, because it's at the end of the year, and I'm not sure who's going to be chair of Health and Human Services, because that's where it came under. Then we can revisit. And I know what ordinance it is that we rescinded that $30, so anybody could play music without coming down here for a loudspeaker permit anymore. But we will revisit that. Whoever becomes chair of Public Health and Human Services, I will make sure we pull that. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Councilman Velez?
Yes, I just want to address two things quickly. Mr. Urquhart, you're right. The $30 you don't need to pay for the application. That's a good thing, because the nonprofits and anybody want to, instead of going to the application, $30 is a good thing that happened for every organization, everyone doing out there for doing the parties and this and that. The ordinance states is at 12 noon up to 8 o'clock that you allowed to conduct those type of activities in your backyard, et cetera, et cetera. But also the ordinance is specific talk about the decibel. If the equipment is not available, the officer, the noise complaint officer, in this case will be an enforcer, it could be the police department, it could be the health department. If they believe that the radius that they listen to noise is disturbing, they could issue a TCOP. Now, not because you have the ordinance says 8 to 12 that you could put it blasting all over, because if somebody calls and make a complaint, it's disturbing the neighbor, it's disturbing probably somebody is sick or whatever, and that's bothering them, the officer has to comply with that complaint. The courtesy, I don't know, is up to the officer. We don't get into that. But sometimes people say they have it low, and you could hear it 2 blocks away, and this and that. But regarding this, and Flavio just said it, regarding the, and I just want to inform the president too. I know that Mr. Mean having a tough time up there, because every time that the people don't have the sound at home, we receive the text. But I'm not bailing out Mr. Mean. I just had a conversation with Mr. Ryan Fortis about 2 weeks ago, and told him about how we received the text regarding the sound, and he promised me that he was working on it. So Ryan, please keep your word. Work this fast, because between you and the sound system is Mr. Mean and the council. So we want to make sure that he does it diligent and work it the right way.
Thank you very much, Councilman Velez. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Thank you, Council President. To the BA, this is more towards, I'm getting text messages about the sound also. I know we have our issue with Channel 77, but I do know the city has a Facebook page that they go live for press conferences and everything like that. I think this is a time where we should start streaming the city council on our Facebook pages. Get a YouTube channel. I work at high school graduations. The YouTube channel, if they can't hear anything, everyone has a smartphone. I think the city needs to adapt instead of Channel 77. Get the YouTube channel up. They should stream on YouTube, Facebook Live, so residents have other avenues to watch our council meetings. I think that should be something that this council could, we should look into that and have an official YouTube channel or Facebook.
All right.
Man, that's
That's
two
very good
recommendations.
suggestion, Councilman. I look forward to working with you to set up our YouTube channel, okay? Thank you, great. Madam Clerk, next speaker, please.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Ms. Shanta Paterson.
Good evening, Paterson, family, friends.
Just bring down the
evening.
microphone a little, okay? Thank you.
Pardon my voice. Good morning, family, friends, Paterson, New Jersey. My name is Shantae Paterson, and I lost my voice. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it right. September 9th, 2018, around 12:49, one officer came into my house. My daughter just left my house. I didn't go to church that Sunday. She went to go to New City Kids. She was 13 years old at this time to go fill out for her application to work. She got the job. I didn't get the chance to go to Georgia Butchers because they closed at 1. So I was going to go to C-Town. I had to, whatever real quick. And then the officer had to, you have to come upstairs 2 flights to my house. Now, I was dating Al Corey Majette. Al Corey Majette knocked out a police officer years ago. I'm going to say exactly 17. He did 11 years already. The police, 2 years ago when he came home, plotted something on him, so he did 18 months for it. Now, someone, you know how they was with the CIs or whatever it is, whatever, they plotted again. And now I'm facing 23 first-degree charges. When I got locked up, my daughter, Shantae Pipkin, following the wrong crowd, she got popped up and had a baby. The baby was born on Father's Day. She's a Mother's Day baby. She's very, very smart. The police beat me up Sunday, but I'm not here for that. I'm here because the police ran into my house illegally. 23 first-degree charges that I'm facing. And my daughter wasn't there, like I said. One detective, it was a police officer, he was about 4'11" with blue eyes. I know exactly how they look. You actually have to walk in and go through the living room and go through the kitchen and go around the bin and come into my room. My door was shut. He jumped. I was like, oh, what the hell you doing in here? Who are you and how did you get in here? And can you please get out, show me a search warrant? What do you got? You're not even supposed to be in here. Like, I don't do anything, so how do you even get in my house? I look outside, it's like 27 police cop cars on East 18th and 9th Ave, 370 East 18th, apartment number 4, upstairs from the liquor store. I've been living there 10 years. Paying $1,200 rent, which she was a slumlord. But anyway, I'm here because of the police, and I got like maybe 1 more minute. Long story short is, it's a lot of stuff. As far as my first picture on Instagram, my first picture on Instagram was with a chief of commission in 2015 who took me to the Trump numerous of times and picked me up in drug dealer, like the 4th Ward, down the hill, drug area spots. Chief of commission would fly me out. Me and his brother, they would play, I was saying like, sir, why is you spending $180,000 gambling? He says, shut up, I'm gonna give you $80,000 gambling right here. That was my first picture ever. My name was Tiffany to him. I'm not gonna tell you who he was. I said from Clifton in 2015. I also dated a very known lawyer, 4.5 years here, who's also just got married to a judge. I'm not gonna say his name. But due to the fact I was arrested for them 6 days, he came through and called my family and said, don't worry. Shantae Paterson is coming out. But people like Victor Cruz, who didn't give our kids a Nike Just For Me book bag. I have like 80 kids that I take to church that they save themselves. I do things for the kids. And it's not right how they just abuse me and beat me up where I couldn't even see my daughter be born. And then they try to say I had coke and dope and crack and meth and eight or whatever, all this stuff that I don't even know. And my system had to go to a crazy house and walk from East Orange to Paterson to get to court. I'm so sorry because I know. To get to court on Monday, facing these 23 first-degree charges, so let me. That the public defender messed up on Corey Majette's paperwork by them saying that I didn't sign a consent form when everyone knows.
Ma'am.
Turn off fears in it as well, but I'm sorry.
No, I know, ma'am.
I know it's a lot.
Your time is up, and it was.
Okay, and I also believe that the key to the city should go to the kids. It's 12 months.
Can I just,
6 months should go to each kid.
Ma'am, so let me just explain something to you. So, I just wanted to say that I wanted, okay. Okay. So just so you understand, Why we won't address you, you know, specific because you put some stuff on record. No, and we can't discuss it because we will have to be careful. It's actually for your protection, okay? Thank you for coming here today and sharing. And if you have any complaints, you have our constituent services director, and also we have our BA here as well, okay? Okay, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, our next speaker,
Yes,
please.
the next speaker is Ms. Shanta Pipkin. Yes. Shanta Pipkin.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, my name's Shantae Pipkin, and I'm just up here to read a poem about Paterson, New Jersey, and it's about crime because, like, my friend, he died playing with a gun, and I don't even know why he was playing with the gun, but I'm just gonna sit up here and read the poem, and okay, it's called The City I Call Home. You wouldn't believe it until you see it. The city I call home floats on a crime we see on TV or maybe in the news. Only if we knew how many deaths there were, maybe we'll stop. Shades of violence, shadows of nonsense, but yet this is the city I call home. Okay, that is I am finished. Anyways, I go to International High School, and basically my teacher, Mr. Rayat, he made me write a poem because I was sad that my friend died, and I didn't get to go to his funeral because I was in labor. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, next speaker.
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is McCormick. I'm not sure of the first. Okay, person is here.
My name is Ajane McCormick. I came here with my family today, and I'm also going to read a poem. This poem is like about me and a hard time that I grew up with. I've been raped since I was 8, and I'm 16 now, and police basically told me it was my fault, so I also wrote a poem to, to bring and say it out loud, okay? So the name of my poem is called Pictionary. Your life is like a pawn, yet you can never win. You'll face a different opponent, yet they'll still have the upper hand. Treated poorly at the age of 8, when you're supposed to be out playing. Passed around like a pawn, but no one could see the pain you're receiving. Kicked around, ran over, bruised, beat. But it's cool, you're a big girl, wipe your tears, you're still not defeated. 13, walk home, walk straight, walk steady. Watch your back, cause he's watching. Look away, just for a second, he's got you. Run, run as fast as you can't hide from the boogeyman. Look left, you're 14, go to the library, read a book. Shh, stay quiet, walk away, and he won't look. You can scream, you can shout, but they're all gonna think you're just running your mouth. 15, all alone, heartbroken, cold from your own tears. Can you feel the shadow behind you? It's dark, your biggest fear. 16 is a new chapter, a chapter full of despair. You know there's a man, a shadow, but who's that girl behind the mirror? You can beat me up 1,000 times, but you cannot remake me, Pictionary. This was a hard poem for me to write because it's not just about, the police not hearing me out or not, helping me and putting these men and these boys that did this stuff to me behind bars for, the things that they did. It also, people around me judge me and bully my brother for the things that happened to me. And I just wanted to be come and have someone to hear me out to help justice with kids, not just like me, but people that are being bullied for the things that happened to them. And that's all I have to say.
Wow, it takes a lot of courage.
Council President.
Councilman McCoy.
Council President, could both of you just come to the
Two
podium?
young ladies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's you're very brave, very powerful statements, and we want to validate you and your value and your contribution, your intellect, your courage, and the strength that you have to give the statements that you give tonight, right? We want to let you know that we hear you. And we're not just going to allow you to say that and walk away. We're going to acknowledge what you said. I'm going to charge the BA to make sure that the director of police have a conversation with you tomorrow or as early as can be arranged to hear your story. I think in the age that we live in, where the President of the United States can find himself on multiple occasions being charged of sexual assault on women is indicative of a society that has gone mad. You're a beautiful young woman, you're a strong young lady, and as this village and your elders, one of our responsibilities is to stand up and to protect you and to make sure that we extend to you every courtesy to grow and to blossom in the person that God has intended you to be. Tonight was very heart-rending. We feel your pain, not as a cliche, but as a responsible party. I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. I have 2 granddaughters that are growing up in this society. And what I'm saying to you is what I would like someone to say to them, is that no one has the right to violate you, abuse you. Society owes you everything to allow you in a space to grow and to thrive and to be the person that you were destined to be. This does not define you. This does not define you. You're a gift, and you should celebrate the gift that you are. And we'll have the director of police, no less, reach out to you. We know we have officers that specialize in this area of concern that can provide assistance and support and give you guidance. And we thank you for the poem. It's been recorded. You've expressed yourself well. I would want to reach also out to the superintendent of schools to know that you're in our public schools. We have guidance counselors, we have PERT team, we have psychologists, and so we have a lot of folk that we pay to make sure that young people are safe and secure and protected. And for you to have to use this venue to express that hurt, we have let you down. But we will not allow that to continue, and we stand with you today to say no more. No more. Right? Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Mr. B.A., if you can please. Madam Clerk, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Madam President. I'm sorry.
Councilman McCoy. Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am. Bilal Hakim, Mr. Bilal.
Commissioner Hakim.
Can I get a piece of tissue, please?
Let me see if I can find any.
I don't have
I'm
any.
just crying because I listen to these young people
Very heart-wrenching.
and what they're experiencing. Just need a piece of tissue so I can,
I don't have any. I apologize. I don't have any.
the first thing I want to say is, Hinchcliffe Stadium. I support it. Like most people in this city want to see it, this renaissance to come back to life. I thank the gentleman who just moved here, for coming to the council, and although he didn't have a full scope of what has taken place, he was expressing because he wants to see, he shares that same sentiment. I went to the town hall meeting last night at Kennedy High School. The mayor needed to be ashamed of himself. And I wish he was sitting here. I know he's home in the comfort of his house watching, but he should be ashamed of himself to have a meeting like that. I went specifically because I wanted to hear, not that I thought that it was an authentic town hall meeting. Because if it was an authentic town hall meeting, then he should have called, they said, body here. Remember the Faulkner Act that Bill Mason, may he rest in peace, he received the Trailblazer Award Me being the third person in the city of Paterson to receive the Trailblazer Award, I found out, I wanted to know who was the first. It was him that sued the city of Paterson, so we have the Faulkner Act, so we have representation. The mayor did not present the documentation, the RFP. He didn't do that. And those people that are close to him, shame on you if you allowed him just to do that, because he's doing exactly the same thing that his predecessors, without naming them. So I wanted to put that on the record. You need to be ashamed of yourself. Don't call no more town hall meetings. Sit down with this here council and get it right. You didn't answer any of the questions, as Councilman at Large Flavio mentioned. I was so insulted after someone asked a direct question: will there be more meetings? You know, because people had so many questions. Is there room for more proposals? And he just went off in another direction. And I like to have a Big Mac. And I'm just dramatizing. That's the disrespect he showed last night. If I was a man of a weaker character, I would have snatched him in his collar last night to treat people that way at a public meeting. Broadway is still ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Coming inside the city of Paterson, outside the city, they have to see this here in the morning. And like these young ladies said, listen, I'm working for the Department of Public Works, and I have to function as a security, a social worker every damn day. Running suburbanites, our own problems here, and the suburbanites are all over the place, shooting heroin early in the morning. They've taken over different places. I see. Some of you need to come and walk. I see, because I move around the city, so I'm seeing this right here. But the moment one of them overdoses, they want to charge someone with murder. Handle that problem. My last thing, Jameek Lowry. It's been a lot of days since this young man was murdered. And I want to put this on the record. January 4th, which was a Friday, I was on my way to congregational prayer, as I go every Friday. I seen Jameek Lowry that day. Let me stop this here a minute. It's the call for prayer, and I'll be finished, Council President. I was on my way to congregational prayer, as I do every Friday. I happened to see him because he was my neighbor, and I used to counsel him as a young man bringing children. And he came and hugged me, big bruh. And I gave him a hug, gave him some positive words. The next day, the 5th of January, and I remember very clear, I received a message from a young lady: did I hear anything about someone being murdered down at Paterson Police Department? I didn't even know. I happened to see it, and it was him. I'm saying that Jameek Lowry is my son. He is your son. That boy was murdered. The lie of spinal meningitis, I don't have it. And I kissed him on his forehead, okay? And I didn't go to the doctor to go get no physical to check to see if anything is wrong. So I'm saying that we are going to, all these here people, all these here grand ideas of renaissance, they need to know, maybe the developers need to know that, you know, we still have a question mark. Is every cop bad? No, everyone always asks that question. Well, we're saying to the good cop, point out those bad, rotten cops, because that was a dirty thing. That family is hurting. I cry, and I try to stay away from this here. I was advised by my advisors. They have their legal team, stay away. But they have no legal team. And my ancestors and Almighty God has sat on me, and I'm not going to be quiet about this man. We need that matter resolved. The murderers of Jameek Lowry must be brought to justice, and the mayor need to get his behind in the room with this here council and get it right, because he's doing the same thing that his predecessors have done. Shame on him. Shame on you, Mayor. You should have your behind sitting right here.
Thank you very much.
January the 2nd, here in the city council chambers, someone asked about the rent leveling board. We'll be having the rent leveling board meeting here from 6 to 8. We're encouraging you to come.
What's the date?
Bring
you said January.
No, I'm sorry, July the 2nd.
Okay.
2019, from 6 to 8. Bring your entire block.
Okay.
My item is affordable housing.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, Madam President. Next speaker is Mr. Elvis Durham. Elvis?
Mr. Elvis Durham. Gotta bring this microphone down. Okay. I came here to talk about the things that's going on in the city of Paterson. It seems like the mayor cannot work with $130 million. Someone like me, I would have like 5 projects working right now. But before I get into that, I just want to say, Council President Marissa Daria, thank you for standing up for the community of the city of Paterson. You surprised me. You are doing a wonderful job as Council President.
Thank you.
And God bless you, woman of God.
Thank you.
That Hiscop Stadium project, people don't realize Hiscop Stadium is built by the National Park. Did y'all forget that the Great Falls is a National Park? Or y'all just dumb? Hiscop Stadium is built by the National Park. It's built around the National Park. That's what I mean. It's built around the National Park. Okay. Anyway, it's not one national park in America that got apartment buildings. Whoever came up with that bullcrap idea, you need to go back to school. Every national park in America got retail stores, 5-star restaurants, and hotels. Now, hey, Andre Sayer, you smarter than that. I know you're watching this. You smarter than that. This is the dumbest idea you came up with. You could be smart and stupid too at the same time. You know that, right? Come up with something better. Now we got more time. We got a lot more time. Don't waste this money and don't waste the state time. And another thing, we got another project. Y'all keep forgetting about the other project. Center City Mall got a project. They want to build a professional arena and a hotel that's going to create jobs for the city of Paterson. We could do 2 projects. But y'all got to get Hiscop Stadium correct. Get a new developer. This other developer, I don't know who he is or who involved with this, but it's bull crap. And it don't benefit the city of Paterson, but it benefit their pockets. We need jobs here. Yes, we need recreation. We need job and recreation at the same time. So come to the table with a better idea. We got time now. Council President said we got time. Come with a better idea, because this idea y'all got is bullcrap. But the Center City Mall project is awesome. Run with that for right now. All the mayor got to do before July 1st is write a doggone letter. What's so hard about that, Andre Sayer? What's so hard about that? Write a doggone letter. Oh, Center City Mall project going to create over 500-something jobs, people. 500-something jobs. This arena is just like the Prudential Center. It's going to create, usher, you know how much an usher get paid at arena? $17.50 an hour. This going to create jobs with benefits and insurance. Run with it. Use common sense. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you too.
Yes. Next speaker,
Madam
Mr.
Clerk?
Walter Staten. Mr. Walter? Not here.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk?
Next speaker is Miss Kayla Mayo.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
The first thing I want to talk about is who do we go to when the Paterson police is violating rights, our rights, not my rights. But I'm gonna get straight to it. My brother just told me today, who was 16 years old, a minor, that he was walking to his friend's house to get his bike. When the cops jumped out on him in the alleyway and pulled out guns, frisked him, and threw him on the ground. I want to know, who can I go to about this problem?
Internal affairs, just so you know, but also we can bring it to our director as well, but I know they're gonna refer you.
You said to who?
To internal affairs.
Internal affairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever you have a complaint about a police officer, you go through internal affairs,
Okay.
okay? You can keep.
No,
You
no,
said
no,
it?
that's it. I just
Okay,
wanted
so
to know
Mr.
because-
BA, just like, can you please get her information so the director of police can at least have a conversation with her to see what happened?
Yeah.
Time, get all the information. Have your brother, because he's a minor, can you please, Mr. BA?
Yes, he's
Okay.
16 years old. 16 years old.
Okay, Miss,
16, and I know some of y'all got nephews out here that's 16 years old. Come on now, these little kids. You out here frisking and pulling out guns on little kids?
Okay.
Come on now. I
Okay.
wish I knew who it was, because it'll be a bigger problem than what it already is. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
I know y'all got kids. Come on, y'all send these cops into our communities and they disrespecting the little kids. I'm speaking for the black teenage boys that gotta grow up.
Okay.
They shouldn't have to grow up like that.
Okay.
Psychological trauma from cops, racist cops, that y'all send into the communities.
please give this
That's
information right now
ridiculous.
to the BA. He's waiting for you outside. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And I hope the people watching this, we gonna fix our community, we gonna get this right.
Madam Clerk?
Madam President, there are no more speaker on the public
Okay, can I have a
portion.
motion to close? Move to close the public portion by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call to close the public portion.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the public portion of the regular meeting, June 25th, 2019. Councilman Cotton?
You sign?
No, I never, I'm 65 years in the city, I don't know how the routine is. I have something to say about the stadium. I think you should give me that choice.
Sir, I apologize. There was,
I don't know the routine here. I'm a resident for 65 years, third generation.
okay, sir, you can't talk over just come to the microphone. Put your name into the record.
Yes, I'd like an opportunity to speak about
Move
the
my
stadium.
motion.
Sir, you have 3 minutes.
Okay.
When the bell goes off, you have to wrap up.
Yeah, my
Okay.
name is Jan Barry Thomas. I'm a Patersonian, 65 years of age, third generation. I want to commend you guys for checking up on the stadium, what was going on. I was born across the street in 1954. I know everything about the stadium, including Paterson. I really appreciate you guys checking this all out. And Andre knows me well. I fight all the politicians all the time. I let them know where I stand at. I'm the one that called Joey Torres a disgrace to the city of Paterson. Also, Councilman Gal, that's a racist. I always stick up for the people in this city of Paterson. She knows me well. She knows me well. I want to say that that stadium is very important to the community. Very important. If anybody would want that stadium off the ground, it would be me, because I was born across the street. The Board of Education, what they did was they neglected the responsibility of taking care of that stadium and put it onto us, the taxpayers.
That's right.
The crime in that area, the prostitution, the garbage dumping, all this stuff. I want to see you guys go down here at 3 o'clock in the morning. You want to go down here? You need a loaded gun. Darren Bosch from the Great Falls knows me well, because when he came here 10 years ago, I had some meetings with him to put lighting around the whole Falls area, and he listened to me as a resident. I used to call him every week to let him know what was going on at the Falls. Drinking, drugs, a lot of problems that happen at nighttime. But I want to say this, that stadium is very important, not only to me, to the community. And I would like to know, that stadium, are we going to have any racing inside that stadium? Because there used to be race cars in that stadium. The guy from Libby's across the street from the railing company, he's waiting to get in there so he can race the midget cars. That was all about racing the stadium too. We would like to see that back again in that stadium. I was just at his business the other day, at his place the other day. He's a taxpayer. He's got a big company over here by Libby's. You know what I mean? He wants to put those cars back in the stadium. He's waiting for Andre to come back and give an answer. He's waiting to go in there to race. I think that's a great thing for the public, for the kids. That's what the stadium was all about. Not only that, was racing. So I'm a big advocate for that. That stadium means everything to me. If Andre's watching now, he knows that. He knows that. I fought for all the stuff for that stadium for years. I never came to the podium because I'm the guy that goes on the outside and talk to people. That's who I am. I want to commend you guys for checking up and making sure we, the public, don't get screwed again. Like I said before, I want Andre to come and let you guys know everything what's going on, and you guys can let us know what's going on. I think that's a fair shake, isn't it? We don't ask for much. We're asking this to do the job properly. We're all for, I think each and every one of us are for the stadium. We are definitely for it. Because those children, boy, that's going to be amazing for them. Just like the Falls was. When I was a kid going to the Falls, when I was about 10, 11 years old, that meant everything to me, the Falls. That was a big thing to me. You know, I can imagine the kid now. You know, like I said before, just do the right thing. That's all we ask for.
Thank you.
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I just want you guys to do the right thing. The other day when we had the memorial over there with Congressman Bill, I whispered in Andre's ear, remember, Andre, God is watching everything what you do. He's watching what you're doing for us. And don't think there's not a repercussion of if any deals or dirty deals are going on, because there will be a repercussion. You follow me? So I just ask everybody to all come together, make it work for all of us. Stop the crime, stop all the stuff in the city of Paterson. We're better than that. This city was built on labor. This city, my father went to the old school 5 over there on Total Ave, 1936. Now look at that building, it's a disgrace. The Board of Education disgraced a lot of things. They ripped the building down Bosco. All that money they spent, they're going to spend money in the stadium?
Please make an effort to
Don't you
wrap
think
up.
that's fair?
I do.
I want to commend you guys. I had to say something. I never spoke at a podium. I never spoke here.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I just want you to know how I feel. And usually how I feel is for the people, what they feel. Thank you, guys.
Right.
Thank you very much. We agree with you, and we appreciate the sentiment.
Move to close.
Second.
Madam Clerk, moved by Councilman Velez, seconded by Councilman Philippe. Roll call, Madam Clerk, close the public portion.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the public portion. Councilwoman Cotton? Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. The public portion is hereby closed.
We have 4 items remaining, Madam Clerk.
We have 4 more items, Mr. President, but there's another item to be voted on to the agenda. That was approved by the council president to be added on.
Which item? Just take the 4
Sophia's going to
first.
hand it out now.
We can take the 4 first and then deal with
Do the other 4.
item when Council
Okay.
President returns.
So should we go on with item 12?
No, we can go to the 4 items that we have left on the agenda.
So you want to work,
Yes.
want us to take, would you like to take item 12 first?
That's fine.
Okay. Next item is item number 12 on the non-consent agenda. Item number 10 reads, 12, I'm sorry. Resolution authorizing the solicitation of bids for the purchase, mounting, dismounting, and balancing of new tires and flat tire repair services. Bid number 20.02 for the City of Paterson Administration, 19367. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, seconded by Councilwoman Cotton. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Let me just ask, Council President, I don't know if you remember, Mr. B.A., but this was the one I asked about. This is specialty stuff, like,
No, this is for all vehicles and all tires.
oh, for all vehicles and all
Yes.
tires?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Very good,
President.
Councilwoman.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, roll call for
Yes,
approval.
sir. Roll call on item number 12. Councilwoman Khan?
Yes.
Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 5 in favor, 4 absent. Item number 12 is hereby adopted. Next item, Mr. President, number 13.
Yes, please, Madam Clerk,
Next item is item number 13. Item number 13. Mr. President, give me one quick second.
6 votes for 13.
Just wanted to be sure this. Next item is item number 13. Resolution authorizing the sale of the municipal liens pursuant to NJSA 54:5-19. Finance Resolution 19368.
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved by Councilwoman Cotton, moved by Councilwoman Mims, seconded by Councilwoman Cotton.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Council President, we all recognize that the sale of liens is a function of aiding the financing of the city. Essentially, when folks fail to pay their taxes or sewer tax, the city is authorized to sell those to a third party, thereby getting the funds to continue to do the operation of the city. The third party gains a benefit by having 18% interest on their money. Over the years, I've noticed that this has become a club to beat and abuse the disadvantaged and poor, as well as the uninformed. We are listing for sale items as small as $52 on this list. We talked with the business administrator and the chief financial officer, and we know that there's a provision in the law that allows for the tax assessor to do a cutoff, but that cutoff is at $100, which is a nominal amount. These tax sales that are being sold are as recent as, I think, February or so, the last quarter billing. And if you recall, we have just had a sewer increase, and we have had a sewer supplemental payment. So folks may not have readily the funds to pay. I find it objectionable that we should move so quickly to selling those items to the third party. But I'm being told that the way the rules are written, we have to sell everything and we can't exclude anything. Not me personally, but the church where I worship has been the victim of this same process. We have been billed sewer taxes, and they've been sending the sewer bill not to the church, but to the original attorney that did the closing when the church property was purchased. That gentleman has been dead for over 30 years. And so we never got the bill, so we never made the payment. We never know that the payments were being sold until years later. And it's one of my personal doctors that have extra cash to buy the tax lien that bought my church's lien. And we had to make out a significant payment recently to redeem that property, or else it would go into foreclosure. Even after doing that, I look at this list, and the church property is still listed on this sale incorrectly, being sent to the person that's dead, and the amount is a measly $225. So we're selling a lien to a third party without the holder even knowing about it, having a chance to pay it, because certainly, you know, everybody is struggling today, but I think we could afford to pay a sewer bill of $225. And as I go through the list, I took some time to go through it. I have some markation. I find a tremendous amount of churches, not exempt property, tax exempt association. Eva's Village is on here. The city of Paterson itself is on the list. The Paterson Public Schools are on this list. The Paterson Housing Authority is on this list. And I'm baffled as to why the list is structured in the way it is. We have many significant property holders and landholders in the city, and I see numerous listing of those individuals on there. I would imagine this list is organized by lot and block, but if you did it by the property owner, you could almost see all of those properties that are jointly owned or owned by the same person or same organization that would be listed together. And I think surely if you have a couple $1 million invested in the city, you can afford to pay a few $1,000s in your sewer fees. And those would be paid rather than selling them to a third party only to entangle the folks in a whole set of other charges. Interestingly enough, I see properties here. Remember, I told you that I've seen charges of maybe $50 that are being sold. But I see properties here with $184,000 on the list. So how do I get to $184,000 that I owe the city? And you're now putting that on the list, but I want to say the little old lady, but it's unfair to the little old lady. The little person that has a $40 lien is here, and they would have a problem in getting that money back. We've been kicking around this notion of St. Joe's for a minute.
So, Councilman, how we should proceed with this?
I just want to get my thing out because it's
No,
really
I know, but
stuck
I'm
in my
saying
craw.
in terms of what you're talking about, I mean.
There is some deadlines in here that we have to sell it in order to get the money to fix the budget. So I'm not too sure how we do that. But I think we've always talked about accountability and having a conscience. And I just don't think that this is managed well, okay? You have an entry here for St. Joe's for $3.8 million. $3.8 million. Imagine that. One institution, $3.8 million, the other one, $52, all on the same document. And that was just one entry. That organization is listed here many, many times, 148,000, 22,000, 69,000, tremendous amount of charges. And I find it troubling that we haven't really managed this property, this list, and make some good sense of it. I don't know many of you know the Hispanic Multipurpose Center.
Yes.
Which has a long history in the city. And every time I pass that building, my heart bleeds because I recognize what it represents as the impetus and the vanguard of change in terms of social services to communities. And that building is still there. I don't know what the purpose of it, how it has come to be, but it's listed on this list with a $200,000 item outstanding. So that's almost more than the property's worth. I thought they were.
They are.
But
how is that?
But it's here. I don't know if that's $200,000 worth of sewer fees. I would hope not. The building hasn't been used for a while.
No, the building is being used. There is still.
On East, the one on East, this is on
oh, this is the one
East
right
23rd, across from where Wonder Bread used to be.
Where Wonder Bread used to be.
Near
What
to
is
Madison
that?
Avenue and Walgreens.
Across from Wonder Bread. Well, the old. You
So-
weren't born, my dear.
So, Council President,
Councilman?
Again, I have a problem doing things that don't make sense to me, doing things that continue to make things worse than make it better. If this is the law, we have a long tradition of going against law that are unjust, and this is an unjust weight that's being placed on the poor and the disadvantaged, and we're killing our city if we allow other folk to come in as third-party holders, charge us exorbitant rates. You know what the interest rate for a savings account is today? Less than 1%. And you're charging somebody that couldn't pay their sewer fee of $222 because they never got billed, you're charging them 18%. That's a crime in of itself. And it's a legalized
That is something the administration needs to fix.
racketeering behavior.
So what?
And right. But that's the system that we live in. But do we continue to cooperate with an unjust law? Do we continue to behave in a way that penalizes the very people that we serve? And we wonder why we are in the predicament that we're in, because the system is victimizing us over and over again, and we say that that's the law. It's permissible. Yes, it's permissible, but is it conscionable? Is it right? Does it make sense?
Right.
I say no.
Okay.
So, so just a question.
Councilwoman Mims.
So, two questions. So, based on the discussion from Councilman McCoy, what is the deadline? Is there time enough to?
Today.
Oh, today is the deadline?
Yes. No, basically, the request from the administration is that this be voted on today because the lien sale, if I'm not mistaken, is Thursday, so they have until tomorrow, whoever's on this list, to come in and pay, but they can't come in and pay with a check, correct? Marge, why don't you address this?
Certainly, Council President. So any of the outstanding liens or the outstanding delinquent taxes, the property owners are allowed to pay for them through the end of business tomorrow. There are no personal checks accepted at this time and no online tax payments accepted during the tax sale season. This is because the state, again, the law is that payments must be guaranteed. So the only form of guaranteed payment in terms of checks are certified checks, cashier's checks, a money order, or cash. So those 4 types of payments are considered guaranteed payments.
Okay,
Council President?
so, no, I'm 1 minute. How are we gonna address, right now, some of the questions that Councilman McCoy had in terms of how do we continue to do business this way?
Well, this list is cultivated from the properties listed here, and some of them are not correct. There are certain errors. Councilman McCoy and I went over that this evening in terms of his church's mailing address. So there's remedies for that. There's procedures that have to be followed. I won't get into that here. That's not the purpose of the response. So the list is cultivated from anything that's delinquent in our system for the current fiscal period for the 3rd quarter and 4th quarter of 2018 and the 1st quarter of 2019. Anything that's outstanding gets grouped together and the interest is accrued on that balance through the sale date. And that is how this is done in accordance with the laws of the state of New Jersey for accelerated tax sales, which is what the city of Paterson has been having each and every year since its implementation, I want to say in 2005 or 2006. Prior to that, the city, as all other municipalities in the state had, they would hold the municipal tax sale after the close of the year end. But since this law was enacted in 2005 or 2006, the city has utilized it, and once you use it, you can't revert back to the sale after the year end.
Council President?
I don't know, Marge, like, your response, and I understand, it's almost like a generic response.
But it's the law.
No, I know the law, but the reality is that you're still, Councilman McCoy just stated, the lawyer, it's been 30 years he's been dead.
Well, I don't know if the church...
How is it that you don't, not you, but, well, your department doesn't fix this?
So if
Why
the
are you not
department-
current?
with respect to the church, if someone from that church did not come to the city of Paterson to change the mailing address, then there's no way the city would know.
No.
There is absolutely no way for us to know.
Yep.
Well,
Taxpayers come into my office all the time for
all right.
change of
We're
address
not going to
requests.
get anywhere.
Council
We're
President?
not. We're
May-
not. Councilman Abdulaziz?
Thank you, Council President. Marge, I have a few questions that some of the council members have probably addressed, but it leads to the point. Some of these sewer charges that I see is from the supplemental bill.
No.
No.
So the supplement,
No,
so the $80
special
charges are
No, the
not,
special assessment charges are not in this lien sale.
so the supplemental charges are not on here.
No, they are not.
So these are all regular sewer bills.
This is just the regular annual sewer charge.
And then if they don't pay the supplemental bill, it goes into another tax lien?
Well, if the supplemental bill remains unpaid next June, then that will be included in the tax sale.
All right, so I'm gonna go really on the sewer bill. We have many bills here not paid, and quite frankly, I don't think it's because our residents can't pay their bill or don't have the money to pay their bill, their sewer bill. And I'm talking about the sewer specifically. I think the city has failed the residents when it comes to their sewer bill. When you have 100 people waiting outside, they don't want to come and pay their bill. We don't make it friendly for residents to come pay their bill. I got a message today from a constituent of mine that needed to use 4.5 hours of vacation time. Vacation time. When you hear about vacation time, they should be sitting on the beach, relaxing. She sat downstairs for 4.5 hours because the hours of operation closed at 4:30, which we've never extended the hours late night for residents to come pay, so we're not making it business friendly for the residents to come pay. We're the only municipality probably in the state of New Jersey that still doesn't have it online. So not only we make it tough for them to pay, and I understand there's the laws, but there's things that the city can do. And we had an article, what did the article say? A perfect storm. It's our job to weather this storm. It is our job to prepare for that. Just like we don't have, the little things are because we don't have, they can't hear us at home because our mics don't work. We can't pay your sewer bill. And then we go put on a tax lien. Then guess what happens when they go on the tax lien? They're going to come pay, and then they're going to tell them, all right, we're going to mail you in 7 days because it takes us 7 days to process the bill. So they come with a wad of cash because they only grab cash. So I'm a little passionate about this because I get calls all the time. People want to come pay, but we make it so difficult for them to come pay. Then they're on this list because there's 100 people waiting. And then when they sell the tax lien, they come back to pay again. And then our employees tell them, fill out this, and then we'll mail you back in 7 days. And then they got to do the whole thing over again in 7 days. So now the lady that spent 4.5 hours today has got to spend another 4.5 hours another day. They get a parking ticket in downtown. It turns into a $1,000 nightmare. So I don't know if there's a grace period that we could extend for the sewer bills, because I really feel the city of Paterson has failed the process of how to pay the sewer bill. And until we show that we extended our hours, put it online, I don't think we should move forward with the sewer bill if legally we could give a grace period for the residents.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Cotton?
Thank you, Council President. Marge, my question for you is that this tax lien sale is for, say I didn't pay my taxes in November, and then I didn't pay in February. They weren't on any other sale before this, is this?
That's correct.
Right,
This
so I
is
can wait
only
all year, don't pay my taxes, knowing they're gonna put it on a lien in June.
Right.
I can come in here and pay the tax.
That's
That's
that's exactly what's on this list.
Right, so any other, and a lot of people do that. They don't pay.
A lot
and,
of
and they
people.
run in.
We
Now-
started at the end of May with approximately 9,000 parcels.
Right.
We are down below 6,000
Right.
parcels.
Now, my next
in
question
these
too
few
for you,
weeks.
Marge. Now, I know that if they wait and pay their tax. I mean, they wait towards the end to pay their taxes, and then they pay towards the end. But my question is, and I want to answer the question for Councilman Albaziz, because until we start negotiating with our all 7 or 8 contracts we got coming up here, because Councilman Al, we've been talking about this for the last 3 years of late hours, when we can have Saturdays, when can we have this, and right now, we cannot do anything, changing nothing, because the union are not going to agree to working on Saturday, they're not going to agree to working late hours, they're not going to agree until, but one of the things we do need to do is still try to figure out how we can get sewer bills paid over the computer.
So,
But and this year coming up, Madam President, 2019 is going to be the year, because everybody contract is up, and it's going to determine how we run this city with these union contracts coming up for 2019.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Klein. Councilman Jackson?
I don't care, we talk all we doing.
Thank you, Council President. So, I just want to reiterate and go back and touch on a couple of things. There were several things said tonight that I think this council needs to make note of. One, it was the call for efficiency on the council's part. I think the council has been doing a phenomenal job as of lately in holding things accountable, because when you think about some of these issues, it really is a reflection of poor leadership. When you look at the sound and situation, I think Councilman Rivera made a comment on we should bring in personnel who know how to do a certain job, and I know that there's a moment of frustration, but we have highly effective employees in the community, in the city, that are being handcuffed because they're incapable of doing their jobs in the most efficient way. I think, we as a council, we agreed on during the last administration to bring in this new system, and we have employees in the Office of Tax Collector's Office that's letting us know this system doesn't work effectively because there's a great deal of time you have to go from the old system. We still have not been able to transition from the old system completely, so there's a 4 or 5 step process that should be eliminated. We have yet to implement the online billing in a fashion that is working properly for the community. This here is a matter of leadership. This is where leadership steps in, circumvents certain issues and problems, and make sure that certain items are not hindering the community any longer. We have to make a decision, Marge, on what we look to do moving forward in terms of a billing system that's fully functional, that is cross-platformable to multiple departments, so that there is no lag time. The 3-hour wait in the lobby of City Hall, it is bad. So that responsibility falls on all of our shoulders to make sure that our community members aren't inconvenienced in such a fashion. We have to make sure that we're selecting proper vendors and also holding these vendors accountable. I think council members, you guys all remember, we voted on several hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, on certain parts of the new system, the Edmund system, and it just hasn't hit the mark. So when do we cut our losses and look for a system that's much more operable, much more compatible, and works much more efficiently, that residents can do what they need to do to make those necessary payments. The last comment, Council President, in reference to the video home system, it's almost been 4 years when we cut the deal for the former production studio on Ellison Street. I don't believe Councilman Shaheen was here, Councilwoman Mims wasn't here, Councilman Rivera wasn't here, neither was Councilman Abdulaziz. There was a provision that was built in. I was the only one who voted against it, and it was $80,000 allocated towards going towards the video production system. It never was met, and you know, I know personnel that's in that department has been requesting. We do have the capabilities and functionality to be able to go live stream. It's just a matter of approval from the administration. The functionality is there, and you know, it's time for us to start holding, you know, the leadership accountable for those things. And we can't continue to blame employees for these mishaps when these are very poor decisions that's being made on the top level, meaning the council and the administration. So I'll rest there, Council President. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
President,
So, Madam,
can I just have one simple question?
Councilman Velez?
Thank you, Council President. I see almost 9,000 individuals here that's in this list. Is any chance between the last tax bill, tax lien sale up to now, is any, did the system crash or something like that? The system crash? Like, is any chance the system
I'm
that?
not sure what you mean. Are you saying that a system failure created the delinquencies?
Yes.
No, that's not what happened.
Let me tell you why. Because I see bill for $110. I see bill here for less than $500, $1,000. You know, and it sounds like, okay, we missed this probably this quarter. We can't find the tapes, so let's put it now. And anything happened? No.
No,
I don't.
that's not the case.
So
These are open, unpaid amounts for either sewer charges or property taxes.
So
that
from
have not been-
2000 what?
That have not been paid since July 1st, 2018.
2018.
They're
So-
current
so-
taxes that are delinquent. in
So
sewer
probably,
charges.
just picking like this, like if I grab one of those individuals and I call them and I say, I want to, do you pay this 2019 tax bill? And they say, yes, I did. How come they didn't pay the 2018? It will not jump, or, you know, it will not come up and say, you need to pay also 2018?
So this current new software requires the payment made today to go back to the first payment due.
So there's a problem in the system.
No, it's not a problem in the system. It's how the system accepts payments. So they cannot pay their first quarter if they owe their fourth quarter or their third quarter. That quarter has to be that payment has to be applied to the earliest delinquent amount.
Yeah, because I understand, I see one here for 387,000, you know, and yeah, this one item number 8304, JS Group LLC, and if you add it, it's almost $400,000 in tax, and that's the first one should be selling, but the one that owns $200 or $150, I think, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for me, that's a priority than 200 and 300. That probably is a communication in between the taxpayer and the tax office.
Okay.
That could happen?
No, it cannot happen.
All right.
Council President,
Councilman Rivera?
make it brief. So this is an accelerated tax sales, right?
That's correct.
It's supposed to be for taxes that are due for this year.
Correct.
Okay. But I also noticed that there are some items here that are for prior years.
There should not be any prior year
Don't have
amount. This is
anything.
strictly current fiscal year bills.
So there's an item here on page 9 for $184,000. And I don't want to go, in detail, but I just have a question because we have discussed this entity in finance. They have an outstanding bill for like $400,000, I think it is. The brownstone, correct?
Yeah.
And we have discussed this in finance. And we always raise the question, how are they paying their current taxes when the law, I think someone repeated it here, the law is that they have to take care of any delinquent taxes. So this is some new taxes they also have?
These are new.
And they also have the $400,000 from before?
The old.
The old. What are we doing? Did we put a lien? Do we hold a lien for them?
So it's a municipal lien, and, I'm moving certain municipal liens to an in-rem foreclosure proceeding in the next fiscal year.
Because I'm not just pinpointing them, I just want to make sure that we're doing a disservice to the taxpayers, to the homeowners, that are here that are struggling to pay a lot of these bills. But then you have companies that they might be struggling, they're not paying their taxes. I don't know if they are, and then that's not my responsibility to analyze their financials. But we gotta make sure we address those little things, because that's a big chunk of
That
money.
is the next step of enforcement, is to move a municipal lien to an in-rem foreclosure.
So
By
council
the
members.
municipality.
Yeah, so you have an accelerated tax sales. Once you do it in a municipality, you gotta continue to do it on a yearly basis, because it would affect your bottom line at year end. There's pros and cons to it, but once you do it 1 year,
That's it.
you have to do it yearly now. And that's where we are right now. When was the first time we did an accelerated tax sale,
As I
March?
explained earlier, it might have been as early as 2005 or 2006.
Correct. And
So
correct
many
me if I'm
years.
wrong, am my statement incorrect, what I just
No,
said?
Exactly.
Okay, just want to point that out.
Council President?
Okay, Councilman Rivera, and then we're just gonna take action.
No, Velez.
Oh, I said Rivera?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Velez.
We look alike, but it's a lower version. We got glasses,
Danny
Okay,
DeVito
just quick,
and
Marsh.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
To the chair. The T next to it, the value of it, it means tax property,
Correct, that's right.
A TS is tax and sewer.
Correct.
Correct. Now, if you look at item 9007, Hispanic Multipurpose Center, okay? That's a nonprofit organization. The building's on a nonprofit organization. And the building not even worth $200,000 in a year. And you're charging tax property for $200,000 taxes on it? No,
What
T, it has a T on it.
What is the block and lot, Councilman?
The 900717, and it says $200,000, has a T next to it, 909, 927 East 23rd Street. Last page.
Right, those are taxes.
Yeah, it falls into tax exempt. It's a
Well,
nonprofit
if there are
organization.
taxes assessed on the property, it is not being treated as a tax exempt entity, which means it's
Why?
probably,
It's been there for more than, 30 years, Yeah, more than 30 years. That's Hispanic Multipurpose. It started with Maria Magda, the former councilwoman.
I'm very familiar with Councilwoman Magda.
But a year, $200,000 in tax, something wrong there. It don't sounds, and they up to date in paperwork. I know that,
well, this is sitting in their account in that block and lot as unpaid taxes for the current year.
But it can't, that's what I'm trying to say, it can be.
I hear what you're
It don't
saying, but it's
sound-
not, it isn't reflected in the tax assessor's book as an exempt property from taxation.
Who pressed the button and say, for all these years, you being tax exempt, and I decide to put you, code it differently?
I can't answer that question.
Okay.
I don't know when they went from tax exempt to
But 1 minute.
taxable.
Yeah.
Wait. Look, Councilwoman, 1 minute.
It's the last page. It's the last page about
The last page, go all the way to the last.
9007 block and lot 17.
May I answer the question?
No, 1 minute, Marge. Council President, and if you permit me, Councilman Velez.
Yeah.
Councilman
We
Velez.
Yeah,
were
of course.
good until a moment ago, Marge, when you say that these are all current charges from last year to now, all right?
Correct.
We're good until you said that. Now, the list here for this Hispanic Multipurpose Center is shown as taxes, and the amount is $200,698.60. What we're saying logically, and this building is at East 23rd Street, and I'm assuming that it's across from where the Wonder Bread used to be. The property is not worth $200,000. So how could,
No, it's the one is in East 24, East 23rd First School 24. Yeah.
okay,
No.
okay, all right, assuming that.
Yeah.
Their taxes for the year is $200,000?
According to this statement. Now. as-
No, 1
See?
minute, that's
That's
what
not-
Councilman,
what I'm saying.
Jackson has been saying.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying, and that's what Councilman Velez has attempted to say. That we're not applying any kind of logic or intelligence to the process. So we just say whatever is there is there. But somebody ought to look at this list in a couple different ways and try to make some sense out of it. And right now, that doesn't make a lot of sense to think that there's a property in Paterson on East 38th Street that is paying $200,000 in taxes for 1 year. I don't think so.
This list was created by a push of a button or two from the Edmunds system to take
somebody
all
sworn
of the
there.
delinquent tax balances and sewer balance for the 3 quarters that I just referenced several times in this fiscal year and put them together with the block and lot, the street address, and gave it a T or an S, or both.
Okay.
If it was cultivated from both charges.
Okay.
Now, as far as the tax exemption
No,
status.
no, stop right there. Don't talk about tax exempt status. Okay. So I push 2 or 3 buttons and I produce a record. As a manager, a supervisor, do I look at it for reasonableness? Do I look at it to make sure that the calculation is correct?
It depends on what the objective is.
I am still speaking.
Okay.
Do I test and prove a couple of the lines to make sure that the machine is doing what I intended it to do and it's producing the proper record? Or do I blindly take the copy and stick it in front of the council and say, approve this?
So just on that note, I saw somebody's name here. So I decided, let me take a picture and send it to them, just out of the blue. I said, turn on the TV. The person said to me, I was there last week. Yes, I had not paid. I paid it last week, Friday. Why are they?
So we can't vote on it.
Okay, but
You cannot vote.
why are we bringing a document? See, that, wait, Marge, I see that as a problem. This document should be coming to us scrubbed.
Okay.
Like, up to when, if this person paid last week Friday, you're listening, right? I ain't gonna call you out. If they paid last Friday, they should not be on this list today. It shouldn't be.
You know what happened, Council President?
What happened,
There are
Councilman?
people who have paid a month ago,
And
who have paid a month ago,
yes.
and their check is still sitting in the drawer
Then I
that
can't
hasn't been
support this.
processed.
Yes,
I
it
can't
is.
support this document. I cannot.
It is.
I cannot.
We
We're
cannot
gonna go
vote, we
back and
cannot vote,
forth?
Council President, I feel that we should table this. Why? Because we voted according to a list that the document says here that we are voting on this tax sale. And if people already voted, when they're gonna present it to, when they sell it here, and we sell it, we had to probably return it,
Is
get
that a
penalty,
motion?
whatever,
Is that a motion,
So-
Council?
Yes, a
What?
motion. Yeah,
Second.
Motion, yes, to
Alright.
table this.
There's a motion on the
Until
floor.
they don't until
There's
they,
a motion
until
on
they
the
don't clean the
floor
list,
by
yes.
Councilman.
Velez.
Discussion?
No.
Hold on.
No.
We had the discussion
Hold on a
already,
minute.
I have a
Councilman.
discussion on the motion for the table.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's a motion on the floor, Madam Clerk, to table item 13.
Until
from
they clear-
Councilman Velez,
Yeah.
and second by Councilman Jackson. And before we move forward, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Just before we look at the table, I just would like to know the legal ramifications before I vote. This tax sale, if it is, or this lien sale, if it is tabled, or is there any deadlines that the city has to meet? Is there any?
The tax sale is Thursday. If the council chooses not to approve the tax sale, there is no revenue coming in to balance this budget, and we will have approximately a $10 million deficit in collections.
Here we go.
Council President, so you're saying if we don't have this tax sale, we're gonna be $10 million short for this current fiscal year?
That's
That
correct.
ends,
At least.
Okay.
that ends June 30th?
Council President.
Yeah?
Well,
Okay.
the last business day is Friday.
1 minute.
So Friday,
So,
so, Council President,
No,
can I finish my question?
everybody's trying to speak, and I'm saying 1 minute. You're
Okay,
finishing.
so there's gonna be a $10 million deficit for June 30th, and that's what we're saying. Now, what if this tax sale doesn't bring in the $10 million that's projected?
Okay, let's say it brought in 9 million, so we'd be $1 million short.
So we're not guaranteed that this is
Right now, this is the list printed this morning from last night. The system doesn't update automatically. Every day, it has to close out, and then the next day, it's updated. This list has 86 pages. This was not the published list. That's why this is attached to the resolution, because it was the list that was published, and that was published on June 21st. So there have been many, many transactions since this list was promulgated days before June 21st. Today is June 25th. So many payments were made since last week when this list was put together.
Right.
Today, as of last night, the list was down to 5,487 units with a 14.593 million balance
Okay,
of
so-
outstanding.
So you're saying that, so tomorrow they still have the opportunity.
Tomorrow,
And-
all day.
Okay, but this is where I have the problem. You said that this is updated every day.
It's not updated.
No, I asked for this today from the tax collector's office. I wanted to know where we were with respect to the remainder sum of units still outstanding and the amounts of those units outstanding.
Yeah, but Marge, I'm trying to understand. Do you have a problem, Councilwoman?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, I
You
hear
have the
what you're
floor.
saying. I'm ready to vote. Let's vote.
No, we got a motion on the table. No, we got a motion.
Wait,
We're not ready
Councilman,
to vote.
Councilman, hold on. There was actually a motion
A
before
motion,
you made
yeah.
the no. Councilman, before you made the motion, there was a motion already to move to approve. Motion by Councilwoman Mims, and it was second by Councilwoman Cotton. So that is the first motion on the floor. Okay, so we do,
Okay,
and I know that you made another motion, but at this point, we have to go through that process first.
So Council President.
Corporation Council, am I correct?
Hold on, I go
I
after
said
that.
Corporation Council, am I correct?
Regarding a motion to table?
No, regarding what I just said in terms of, there's a first motion on the floor, which is Councilwoman moved it, and Councilwoman Cotton seconded for approval.
One, we should finish that motion, yes.
Okay.
I want to add.
Councilman, I'm sorry, Councilman Abdelaziz, were you done with your
No,
statement?
I'm not done with I have some questions. So when we end the fiscal year with a deficit, how do you handle it, like you just said? So right now, if we don't do the tax lien sale, you're gonna have a deficit of $10 million. What happens when there's a deficit?
Well, we'll have no cash, because we won't have that cash in the treasury. And the deficit will have to be raised next year. And it will certainly cause the city's credit rating to go to probably junk bond status for doing such a draconian fiscal transaction.
Thank you.
Council President?
Council President.
Councilman Rivera.
So council members, this is the consequence if we don't do this accelerated tax sale.
Okay.
So we don't do this tax sale, this will reduce our collection rate for this year, right? If you guys recall, there is a line item in the budget that's called Reserve for Uncollected Tax. That is based on the city's collection rate. So what happens is, very simple. If you want to have 100 million of expenditures, that means you need to raise 100 million in revenues, correct? But depending on your collection rate, if your collection rate is 97%, now you have to bill the taxpayer 103 million worth of taxes. So you basically, by voting no on this, you're actually increasing, right? You're actually decreasing the revenue. Let me rephrase. Marge, help me out here. You're actually increasing the liabilities that we have.
Correct.
Okay.
Just be mindful.
And it's a double
Please,
hit.
please.
It's a shortage in one year and a shortage in the
It's
next.
very unfair.
Yeah.
It's very unfair for that liability to be placed on the burden, or that burden to be placed on the desk of the council, when it is up to the administration to be responsible
Agreed.
to bring forward documentation or items to be voted on that are complete and that show the clear picture of where we are.
I agree.
So until, and I've said this in the past, until this council grows a little,
Councilman?
Can I?
grows
please?
a little peach fuzz.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Can I just, hold on.
In holding accountable, we're always going to continue to be in the same place. We have yet any administration accountable for these mishaps. And this is part of the problem. This is why we continue to be in this space.
But this is, I agree with you 100%, Councilman Jackson. The issue that we have, though, this is not the item, because like the CFO stated, this is gonna change. If you come and pay your taxes tomorrow, this will be removed from this list. This taxes will not be sold to, some of these people probably paid already, correct?
But Councilman, so then
but he-
why weren't the people that paid on
but-
Friday, why are they here?
But
If
hear
they-
me out.
I
Well,
don't
she
even
tried to-
have faith
listen,
that they're gonna remove.
Council President?
No, I don't.
Council
That
President.
you're gonna remove Friday's
Council
payment.
President.
Yes.
The CFO just stated her reasoning, right or wrong, her reasoning for submitting this. According to what she told us, this list is based on what she published previously. Am I correct? That's what you said?
This list is the publication from Friday's newspaper.
So all I'm saying is, I've been saying since day one, yes, we gotta hold this administration accountable. By us holding them, because what is the harm that we do with this? We have a list, right? Okay, let's say it's not accurate like you stated. They're doing a tax sale. They gotta verify all of this, and I agree with you, this should have been verified before, right? But they gotta verify the whole list again before they go to sell. By us voting this down, we're not doing we're not sending a message to them. We actually harming the taxpayers by not proceeding. Remember my previous comment? An accelerated tax sale is a tax sale that will actually improve your tax collection. A regular tax sale is usually from the prior year delinquencies. So I just want to warn you, you can proceed with
So,
the motion,
Councilman-
but all you're doing is hurting the
I'm sorry,
taxpayers
Council-
tremendously.
Let me give you one example.
Tremendous.
And it's a realistic example. It's not a hypothetical. Pastor Farrar called me several months back. One of his properties was sold in a tax sale. A person showed up on his property to basically let him know, you're on my property. And he then had to bring forward the documentation to show that, one, the property has been tax exempt for the last 40 years. All of a sudden, it turns up on a tax sale. So, you're right, but guess what? Whose responsibility is that to make sure that these obstacles don't take place?
Council President.
You know just as well as I do as a council person, you're burdened and blamed for things that fall outside of your purview. This is a responsibility of the administration to make sure these things are done properly.
So to your point, Councilman Jackson, this is a discussion that we often have in finance, because every time the tax office makes a mistake of that nature, where you click and make a property a tax non-tax exempt, right? Such as some of these properties, all you're doing is when you have to collect, let's say, 100 million, you spread the money between you spread the bill between the properties that are taxable. So when you click, when you make a mistake, when the administration makes a mistake and don't verify that we don't have any tax exempt properties in our tax rolls as taxable properties, then it also affects our collection rate, because now property owners are being billed less. I'll give you the best example. It's like, for whatever reason, the city clicks on all the school district properties, right? You click on it like they're taxable properties. That means your bill, my bill, everyone's bill here will be a little less because of the mistake they
But
made.
the impact is, Councilman, the 18% that is then paid out by the person who makes the purchase, we have to reimburse them. When a sale is made and it's not made in good context,
my comment
we
didn't-
have to reimburse them.
Yeah, but my comment
So,
never-
to your point,
It didn't make it there, though.
but we
doesn't
will
make it
make
to
it
the
there
sale.
if we go to the tax sale. To your point, if we do sell a school property in a tax sale, and then later on it's found that it wasn't supposed to have been sold, we have to reimburse the investor.
Is that correct, Marge?
I think
Yes.
that the council, you're asking, or you're explaining that when we sell a lien value with an interest rate that's earned by the investor for
Tax exempt.
for a tax exempt property that's found to be taxed erroneously, we have to refund the investor's tax principal plus the interest If they've purchased that
Plus
lien
interest.
at 18%,
That's if they sell it.
then yes.
So my previous comment is, they supposed to look at this, and thank God, you guys have all brought this out. You're supposed to review this list now, and maybe review with other members of your staff. We just happen to recognize the name of the organizations. But someone needs to go over this and review this, especially the ones that are large numbers that stand out. It needs to be reviewed, because we're gonna end up paying. But I don't think that the way to go is to not approve this. The way to go is to approve it and ask them to review this list and remove anything that's tax exempt from here.
Well, I've already, and I'll give you that information in a minute.
Before-
I want us, council members, I really want us to, and you'll be able, when you vote, you're gonna
No,
speak.
because this will make my decision if you answer the right way.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Okay,
March,
Councilman Velez.
March, out of this list, okay, you mentioned before two things that make me look into the document more. You say that we're gonna be probably in a hole for $10 million if we don't do this?
Without the tax sale, right now, the value is
Collection rate.
about 14.5 million,
Okay.
approximately.
So what is that number in the back of this page that say 8,268,000?
8,260, that was the cost of the publication in the newspaper.
Okay, so, all right, I thought that was the total of, I thought it was value of the whole paper. Yeah, that's what, that's what I'm looking for, because I thought this number that I see here
No,
was the
that's the
total.
cost of the newspaper ad.
So you didn't add all this and put a total on the end? So you put in a number because you want to put that number, or is justifying this document? Because right now, when you say 10 million, when you say $10 million, I look in the back, I see only 8 million this, but is that the fee for publish this?
8,000, 8,200, what?
Wow. Now, to
Okay.
publish. Now,
All right.
the second thing is, out of this list, how many of these individuals, if you know, that the bank supposed to, the scroll of the bank or the company supposed to pay those bills for them? Because they pay the taxes to their mortgage.
So there may be a bank code
Yeah.
with that particular property. That's not going to show here. You're not going to see that.
So how many you think are there, that the bank's supposed to send that check?
I couldn't even wager a guess.
So that's why we need to
Based
check
on the
this.
number of people that have visited the office since we started the tax sale.
Now all of these individuals pay the tax by their own, right?
No,
They-
not everyone. There
So that's
there
what
are
I'm
mortgage
saying.
companies that
So
have
the
to
mortgage
pay.
company probably is delayed, or they're in a way, or something, they have a system to pay it right away, that instead of being in this list?
There's a number of reasons why a mortgage company could miss a payment.
Now, last but not least, March, in item 6801, what is that special charge conversion building, or whatever it is? What is that?
What item, Councilman?
801,
Councilman?
no, because it says here, but it don't have an address. Beside the city of Paterson has a lot of lot that they don't pay their taxes, that's good.
Okay.
80122, 80122. What is that? Special charge conversion.
Okay, so Councilman, so I know that you have a lot of concerns, viable concerns. We all, as you can see from this discussion, nice, lengthy, good discussion to have. But we also have to, there is a motion on the floor, so the second motion, it can't supersede the one that was already, and we have to take first action on that. So we're gonna move forward with the motion that was moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilwoman Cotton. Madam Clerk, I want you to roll call on item number 13 for approval.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 13 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I think this discussion was very healthy to really show the non-efficiencies that go on in some of the departments in City Hall. I remember when I first got on here, I've been screaming about online payments. You guys have given us deadlines for payments. We did the tax payment, but we don't have the sewer. And I know there's reasons and everything, but a year, and then my colleagues that have been here longer than I have, has stated They've been asking for the same thing. I mean, the science and technology isn't that hard, and I really don't want to hear the reasons why, because the frustration's so bad. There's one thing when I walk in City Hall where, as a council person, I feel embarrassed. I really feel embarrassed and ashamed as an elected official to walk through City Hall and see senior citizens sitting down waiting, or my constituents calling me saying my mom had a panic attack. An 80-year-old mom had a panic attack because she was nervous, she was going to do this and do that. But then again, as a council person, we also have the fiscal responsibility to do the right thing. And I think sometimes voting down something is not the way to, the responsible way to send a message. So, Mr. BA, we got a new fiscal year in front of us. All hands on deck to try to figure out a way to get the sewer bills up. Or if not, start having evening hours, weekend hours, make it more accommodating for our residents. Because it is hurtful to see the lines that we have there. It is hurtful when your residents call you and said I had to take vacation time just to use the sewer bill. So please, this is something that should be in the budget for next year, and figure out a way to get it done. You guys are the department heads. You guys are the ones that are supposed to solve the problems. This is the job of the administration. The council's urging you to do it, and we're here to help out in any way that you guys need. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just would like to say to our Director of Finance that this municipal lien is every year, the end of June, and it's been the end of year. It's been here every year, the end of June, since I've been sitting on the City Council. And these are just, because we had special tax sales, we had special, but this is the one that stays, that we have at the end of the year, which helps with our cash flow for the end of the year. What I find is too that, and sometimes I go through it, and if I see someone's name on there, I'll call them up and say, you on there, you didn't pay your tax, you didn't pay your sewer bill. But what I find is that investors are not buying $100. Investors are coming in here buying the $2 and $3 and $4 and $5,000, and because they know those are the tax liens. They're not buying sewer liens. Because they know people are going to pay those sewer liens. So this has been part of the city of having this tax sale once a year for the entire year for those who don't pay their taxes. And I know I have seen them come down and pay their taxes right before this tax sale comes in. And even though this is not an updated one, probably by tomorrow, I would say the end of the night, tomorrow, another 1,500 is going to come off of here, hopefully, before the original tax sale. And I've sat here on tax sales, and I haven't seen no one buy a $100 sewer lien. You're not making no money on sewer liens. You're making money on tax liens. So those are the ones I find. But this is part that we've been doing for the last 6 years. So, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome, sir.
So, at what point do we become rigid enough where the decisions that are made by any administration doesn't continue to hurt the community? I've been asking for it since I've gotten here. I think that the council is always willing to work with, and we've shown it time and time again. I've shown it in the past. I voted in favor of certain things, given this administration the opportunity to show as a sign of good faith, and I just don't quite feel that we're meeting the mark. And at a certain point, we have to put a tourniquet on the arm and cut it off if it's infected. So I can no longer just continue to support these items blindly. I'm not going to stand in the way of the progress of the city, because I do understand the ramifications of this vote, but I can no longer stand in support. So at the moment, Madam Clerk, I will be abstaining from this vote.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kalik?
Well, I hope the administration has the most updated list by the time of the lien sale, and my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman McCoy?
All right. Councilwoman Cotton, how many dollars are in $100,000? $100,000. $100,000 is $100,000. Whether it's $1 at a time or 100 pennies at a time, it's still $100,000. My sewer tax have been sold. You know what the trick is? Yes. You know what the trick is? You take a $300 sewer tax and you keep it for 5 years or 8 years.
Hold up,
Oh.
Councilwoman.
Councilman, I'm talking. You know how that happens? Because I'm not there watching my sewer bill. I get the coupon, and I miss one. Falls in the crack of the cushion, I forget about it. The city doesn't tell me that your sewer bill is outstanding because they sold it to Mr. Bob over there. He holds on to it for 8 years and come back and say, hey, and he has 1,000 of those. So that's $300,000. And he's telling you to redeem that, you need to give him 18% times 300,000 plus the amount you owe. And that's how you make the money. That's the finance.
Wow.
That's the travesty of poverty, the cost of poverty. Now, I am giving you all of the injustices and all of the reason why this is wrong, yet at the same time, I'm going to vote yes. Why? Because it's a part of our finance structure. We have to collect the money. This is one way to do that. But I'm also saying to the business administrator and the tax and the CFO that this is unconscionable, that we continue to perpetrate a system that is unfair to the very least in our community. We should do a better job in notifying folk when the tax is sold, when the tax lien is sold. We can put it on their next bill so they're aware of it. We can make sure that we're billing the right people so that they're able to pay their bill. And we have a provision not to bill those folks for marginal amounts, less than $100, I'm told, but we should ask our legislative body to put a better system in place so that poor people are not being taken advantage of with these small amount of money. And I want to specifically put it on the record. Go to page number 9 of this document that we have received and look at the 6th, 7th, and 8th item on the top of the list. You have an organization here that is very, that collects a whole lot of money from Paterson. And they have a bill of $184,000. And I don't believe the instruction that we gave that all of this billing is last year to now. Because I don't believe that the value of their tax bill from last year to now is $84,000. The same way I don't believe that the multipurpose center on the last page, 1 year bill is $200,000. So I'm putting forth the proposition that either this document is incorrect or the advice we're given is incorrect. But something is not right. Something is not right. And we need to make sure that the legislative body put in place laws that protect and serve our residents. This is a national problem. The people that buy this stuff buy it all over the country. You see them advertising how to get rich with TV shows and everything else. This is part of what they're talking about. And at a time when your interest earning is less than 1% on your savings account, for us to still be paying $18,000 on a lien for folk that can't pay the taxes in the first place is a travesty. It's a travesty. Nevertheless, given the quagmire that we're in and the dilemma that we're faced, I'm going to vote yes. But I'm going to hold on to this list. I'm going to hold on to this list, Marge. And my buddies on page 9, I need to see that they pay their bill before the next time comes around. Because they've been riding on this list for a long, long time. And it seems like some folk with means can afford to skip and dance, and as long as my name ends with a vowel, I don't necessarily have to pay it right now. But other people, the senior citizen, once they hear their name is in the newspaper, they go nuts to come down and pay it, the $500 that they may not have, and wait on a long line out there to do that. Let's do the right thing. Let's be sharp about it. Let's change some things where they need to change, and let's begin to protect the interests of our community. Passaic Community College Fund is an organization that we know well. It's a part of helping advancing the education in our city. And they're here, Passaic Community College Fund, for $59,569.18. I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to assess what it is. I'm just giving it. Here it is. Is that Passaic County Community College Fund, $59,569.18. It says T for tax.
They're a nonprofit. Why are they being charged?
The fund, the college fund. I don't know.
Records here in front of me, I have what we're all looking at. I'd have to look at the tax assessor's file to see why. Tax exemption is not automatic because you're a not-for-profit or you're tax exempt. It's an application process.
Madam CFO.
Yes, Councilman.
We've been around for 50 years.
I believe that you're missing the greater point that we're saying. And the greater point is that when you present something to this august body, the Municipal Council, it ought to be reviewed, scrubbed, and presented with some level of understanding and intelligence that we can respond quickly to the issues and concerns that's raised. We should not be surprising you with our questions because someone on your staff should have already reviewed the document and given you the explanation as to why these apparent exceptions are appearing on the document. And that is our expectation. And right now, our expectation is not being met, unfortunately. Reluctantly, with much trepidation and chagrin, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims.
I really enjoy sitting next to Councilman McCoy because I learned so many new words each week. It reminds me of going to Eastside High School with Joe Clark, so I appreciate it, Councilman McCoy. Everything has already been said, right, about the sewer being online, coming into the council chambers or coming into City Hall, and the lines are so long that people, I mean, one day there were like 200 people. I shook their hands. It was 200 people here waiting, and I think it's just, it's embarrassing. So I know it's, end of year. We got to do the right thing for our taxpayers. I do understand that over the last 4 weeks, for at least one day out of the week, that this should have been publicized to the community with this information, right? But I also feel that we should develop a best practice model for the scrubbing process of how we identify people that have paid or make sure that if their name should not be here, that it's removed. Because anytime it's presented before the council, we have to make sure that the document is clear and is defined, so that when we're voting on it, we're voting with integrity. So we have to make sure we do our due diligence. We understand that there's a computer, but we understand computers have flaws and imperfections, but we as human beings that oversee these processes, we have to make sure those individuals that are working in there, that we oversee to ensure that these lists are scrubbed or they're up to date prior to coming to council. Whether it was on June 25th, there was a list and we received some updates or amendments. The amendment list should have been presented to the council. Also, we have to do a better job if we're saying this list is going to provide us with 10 million, and I've asked this when I first came in, that we should have someone doing our revenue collection. Specifically, I've asked when I first came in, I think it's been 5 times, still haven't gotten the information, but I wanted to see the outstanding list of all the taxes that were owed. And so now we're at the last hour and I get the list. Even though asking 5 times prior, get it today, but that's a concern that now here, a few days before closeout year, that we're saying we need to vote on it. And I'm gonna vote in favor of it because of the fact that we have to make sure that we recoup these funds and that we don't tax only this 23,000 base of homeowners that pay taxes for over 150,000 people, which is another concern. But I would like to make sure that we put in place, I'm giving this to the BA, that we need someone in place that can oversee these outstanding payments sooner than later. That we're not waiting until the last minute, we're not coming with this huge bill, but we need to have someone designated specifically for outstanding taxes, liens, payments, those type of things. Because I think when we come to the last minute, we're at the last juncture, I mean, sometimes it's unrealistic that we're gonna get the money, but if we do our due diligence every single day, every week, monthly, quarterly, I think we'll get more return on our investment. So with that stated, with those recommendations, and if they're adhered to, my vote this year will be yes, but if it's not adhered to next year, it will be no. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes on tonight.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera?
See, we all aware, the administration's aware, we're aware that there's some deficiencies in that division, in the revenue collection division. We haven't had a tax collector, and I'm not justifying what is going on, but in fairness, they haven't had a tax collector in a while. But they do have a lot of staff that could perform this simple function of, reviewing this. Now, I just want to make it clear, this is not submitted by the administration last minute. I said that I would not vote on things using the excuse that if you don't vote for this now, we're going to have consequences. No. The reason this is submitted around this time is because tax sale is a few days away. So you cannot, it doesn't serve a purpose except for analyzing, how many property owners are still delinquent, asking for this information, a month before. I just don't see the purpose, but that's just me. So I would just like to say that this was necessary, and I appreciate that the council at least, contemplated changing their motion. This needs to be done. It was done previously, and it needs to continue to be done. If not, the collection rate will be affected. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Let me, every time I look at the list, I find something great. I saw our friends from St. Joseph here, so, I know they have to. But let me say this, a lot of this in the list are March confirming that a lot of them probably are in a scroll account. Mortgage had to, they pay the taxes through mortgage and they haven't got here yet, okay? Or something like that she tried to tell me that was, because the question was, if a lot of these individuals here pay their bills through a scroll account, mortgage, et cetera, you say, possible, yeah? Correct. So I noticed everybody on the far right over here expressed themselves how they feel when they come into the lobby of the city. More likely, I come regular through this lobby, and I cannot ignore my constituents. And you have seen me march. How I try to alleviate the concern and try to put peace in the situation between the taxpayer and the function in the office. And sometimes even the employee get mad at us because we listen to our constituents. So, and knowing that there's a lot of irregularities in this list, and knowing that the administration had enough times to correct this problem, and it's not because the revenue don't have to come in, we agree on that. My vote will be a message to say that you need to correct it, you need to put it to the right tax and do the right thing, because a lot of this money is gonna return back to those individuals that purchased them with interest, and we had to pay back our mistake. I don't think so. My vote is no.
Madam President,
Can you call the vote? The vote. I know I have to vote. I want to know.
You got 4-3.
no, just one person said no and one abstained.
No. Jackson voted.
Jackson is an abstention.
Councilman Jackson
1,
said
2,
he
3.
abstained.
You said abstain?
If I may, Council President,
Abstain.
please recall that this is an abstentionist yes jurisdiction.
Yes.
No, we know what it means. Okay.
9-1.
I don't think I need to rehash and re-say everything here. I think we've expressed ourselves enough. I just, right now, I stated it before, the way we're doing business, we're not doing very well with scrubbing this list, and something has to change. We continue with the norm, with the same thing, over and over again, we're gonna continue doing, we're not gonna get any different results. Right now, I can't support this, so my vote is no.
Thank you. The vote is 6 in favor, 2 against, 1 abstain. Item number 13 is hereby adopted.
Okay,
Madam President, the vote has been cast, the item is moved, but I'd like just to, if you'd indulge me for a second. There's a one item with the St. Joe's at 580401 for the $3.8 million.
Settles.
It's my understanding, isn't that in litigation?
Well, I just want to hear the CFO address that.
Okay.
Are we aware that that's there, and we understand why that's there, and we are comfortable with that being there?
That is the annual, well, that's 3/4 of their annual assessment and the taxes that accrue for that particular block and lot. Now, this is the assessment that the hospital has been sort of in court with on an appeal. We have not come to any conclusion on the settlement. There is no settlement agreement between the city and the hospital. So until such times as that assessment that's been booked several years ago changes, each year that block and lot will continue to accrue taxes because the hospital will not pay them.
All right, I just want to make sure that we're aware that it's there. I think we've done our due diligence.
Okay.
Move to close?
No, we have 2 more items, and actually, council members, I need you all here right now. We need to add an item to the agenda.
Yeah, that's a grant.
Mr. BA?
Amendment now? There were
No,
2 other
just quickly,
items.
before we go ahead and add it, just quickly, if you
Sure.
can just
So-
indicate why this item came this late.
Yeah, this is a resolution that was passed by the council back in May, and DCA added some additional requirements to the resolution that requires for the signatures of the mayor and the clerk and the deputy clerk to go in the resolution. So nothing's changed other than pretty much the signature. If you go to page 2 of the resolution, you'll see there's a signature page for the mayor, a signature page for the clerk, and a signature page for the deputy clerk. That's the only thing that changed. It was a requirement that came from DCA.
Council President,
Okay.
make a motion to put on the agenda.
Okay,
Second.
No, I have another question
Oh,
before
We
put
should
it on
have
the agenda.
discussion till it's on the
Councilwoman, we can-
agenda.
Councilwoman.
Okay, we can put it on the agenda.
No, Councilwoman, you can make your question after. We need to just add it to the agenda. Madam Clerk,
Add
there's
it
been
to
a
the
motion
agenda.
to add item 17 to the agenda. Can you please read it in for the record?
Yes, Madam President, may I read the addendum first? There's an addendum to be added to the regular meeting agenda. The following resolution is also scheduled for your consideration at the regular meeting of the Municipal Council to be held on Tuesday, June 25th, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the Council Chambers, 155 Market Street, 3rd floor, Paterson, New Jersey. Item to be voted on the regular meeting agenda. Resolution, item number 17. Resolution supplementing Resolution 19274, which addresses the Neighborhood Preservation Program to comply with DCA resolution requirements. Economic Development, Resolution 19372.
Okay, Madam Clerk, it was moved by Councilman Abdelaziz and second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call to add item number 17 to the agenda.
Yes. Roll call to add item number 17 to the regular meeting agenda. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan?
Yeah, the same thing that Pacific.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy? Yes. Councilman Mims? Councilman Rivera? Councilman Velez? Councilman
To add to the agenda,
add the
Councilman.
item on.
Yeah, I don't have no problem. I see my name here that we
Okay.
did this before. Yeah, my vote is yes. Yeah.
Because it was already approved. We just have to add because there's some new additions that DCA required, okay?
Yeah.
He said yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 17 is added to the regular
Thank you,
meeting
Madam
agenda.
Clerk. So she's ready.
Okay, should I read it
Roll
now
call.
so we can vote on it? Resolution,
No, we
No,
this is
you
done.
can ask your question when you're voting.
okay.
Go ahead.
Item number 17.
This item has been approved, Councilwoman, just so you know.
It's
No,
approved. It's
Councilwoman, it was
approved.
approved. If you look at it, look at the
Look in the
item.
back. Look
It
in the
has
back.
been
Your name is there.
approved.
You didn't lose it.
It's not the same resolution. Let me just, okay,
No, Councilwoman, if you heard the BA, he indicated that the changes that came through DCA on this item that was approved is just signatures. Okay, okay. Roll call, Madam
Okay.
Clerk.
Next item is item number 17. Item number 17, resolution supplementing Resolution 19274, which addresses the Neighborhood Preservation Program to comply with DCA resolution requirements. Economic Development, Resolution 19372. And I need a motion and a second.
Moved by Councilwoman
Second.
Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item 17.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 17 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Anytime we're receiving any grants is music to the ears of the taxpayers. My vote is yes.
Councilwoman Khan.
I mean, I'm not against receiving grant money, but I mean, let me tell you, the original application doesn't specify what the grant was for. If you read it, it doesn't have any names in there. It does not have any names in the original resolution.
It
Now,
does.
if you,
The original resolution, and Councilwoman,
It
is
has-
to support the submission of the application.
right, so now the state.
For the
no,
$125,000.
The state came back and said, you have to specifically tell us what you want to use this money for now.
But it's for the east
Right,
side
which I'm
neighborhood.
not gonna not vote for it, but I'm personally also too, was trying to apply.
Oh, yes, yes,
For this DCA
yes.
money, for my neighborhood, to stabilize my neighborhood. The original applications had no names.
Yes.
Okay, fine, but
Yes.
now this,
Councilwoman
no,
Ka-
listen to me.
It's true.
No, it does, I know what I'm talking about.
Councilwoman?
Come on, listen,
Council-
he just sent that letter in June. We vote on this in May.
Councilwoman, if you look at the resolution that you voted on in May,
Right.
it says, this, in the statement of purpose, it says it clearly. This resolution supports the application of the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Neighborhood Preservation Program and the grant of the amount of $125,000 for neighborhood level improvements. Now,
Right.
I guess what you're saying is it doesn't
It-
say the east side neighborhood
That's
improvement.
right. It
Okay,
doesn't
I
say
understand.
that. So
Okay.
because you know what,
Yes, sure.
I personally was trying to apply for this 125,000 for my fourth ward neighborhood stabilization.
Right, right.
I didn't know now.
This is for
and
the
I'm
east
not
side
gonna-
neighborhood.
I'm not gonna turn down grant money. I can't. But I'm just saying that the original thing that Councilwoman and I voted on, it didn't have no. Now the state came back to the city of Paterson and said to us, now you gotta tell us what you wanna use it for. They didn't ask us that before, because we thought that once we got the grant money, we can use it in all our neighborhoods. That's what I was thinking.
But we were told, excuse me.
Right, no,
We-
that's what I'm
We
thinking.
were told just for the signatures.
No, see, it's a couple of items in there. I'm not gonna not say I don't
Councilwoman,
support it.
you have
but
made your
I
point,
made my
and
point.
very clear and on record.
So
Okay?
I'm saying, and I'm never gonna not vote for grant money, because we need this money in our city for all neighborhoods. But as you can see, I was working on trying to get some of this DCA money for my fourth ward. Now I see what they did.
Okay.
So,
Why is it going to
I have no idea. I have no idea. But you know what, Madam Clerk, at least I got my point on record. I knew that the state was coming out with this grant money, and I didn't know that. I'm still gonna try to do my best to get some money for my fourth ward people, for my fourth ward too. So I'm not gonna turn down no grant money. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
That's it.
Okay.
Councilman Kalik?
Love that.
No.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman McCoy?
Now, I'm getting a little bit perturbed by this ward tribalism that seems to be so pervasive. You know, in order for us to improve the city, we got to improve the entire city. And we've got issues and concerns in across the city, and we got to raise all boats. If my house is have a hole in the roof, that needs to be fixed too. And it doesn't matter my zip code or my address. This is a neighborhood stabilization grant that's going to be using some funds to study a segment of the third ward, yes, that is in need of stabilization. We have a shooting, killing, robbery, all of the circumstances that this is going to address this area, making sure that we have economic development, supporting the businesses along that strip, and improving our community. It's one grant, it's one opportunity, and I'm grateful that the council has proved to support this initiative, and I look forward to supporting the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan and the Freedom Village and every other thing that that have gone on in the Fourth Ward. But the city is one city. It takes a little bit of everything to make it go. All right, my vote is yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mims?
We're in the middle of, please, council members, we're in the middle of.
My vote is
roll
yes,
call.
Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera?
No.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
I thought he said no, he want to read, though. That's what you want? Okay, so, you know, everybody get offended with the east side neighborhood. I want to say that the Fifth Ward has East 21st, East 25, East 24, whatever belongs to the east, they probably get money there. So, yeah, listen, as my colleague, Councilman McCoy just said, you know, when grants comes to the city, you know, it's for the city. And no matter you live in that section or not, you still live in the city. Somehow you're gonna pass through there, enjoy an ice cream or whatever, use the park, go to a bathroom in a restaurant. So it's the city. So this grant is welcome. I know the city of Passaic was celebrating with fireworks when they received the letter from the governor that they received their $125,000 the other day. The city of Passaic did receive it already, the award letter. And I was thinking myself, where is ours? Where's the our application? So we need to get 20% matching fund out of this, because in the first application, it says so, that the 20% is applying on it. So my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam President?
Okay. My vote is yes.
And that's not going to the park, right?
Okay.
Thank you. The vote is 7 in favor, 1 against, 1 absent. Item number 17 is hereby adopted.
Okay, very good. Council members, we have 2 items, so if we can please just have a seat. The item 14 is a resolution authorizing the budget transfers, and item 15 is a resolution authorizing the solicitation of bids for the purchase of 1 police tactical robot. You saw the memo. Are you okay with?
Yeah, we are good.
Okay, so let's take, Madam Clerk, let's take item 15.
Yes, Madam President.
Madam Clerk, can you please read into the record item number 15?
Yes, ma'am. Next item is item number 15, resolution authorizing the solicitation of bids for the purchase of 1 police tactical robot for the police department. Bid number 20.03, police resolution 19370.
So move.
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on
And
item.
Councilman Khalid. I saw his finger going like this. Yeah. I did.
Second by Councilman Velez and Councilman Kalik. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 15.
Yes, roll call on item number 15 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy? Yes. Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
I just want to clarify that this is going to be purchased with no taxpayer money, okay? So it's good to that the public knows that this is forfeit money from the prosecutor's office, and my vote is yes.
Thank you. Madam President?
My vote is yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 15 is hereby adopted.
Okay, very good. So our last item on the agenda, council members, is item number 14. Madam Clerk, please read into the record item number 14.
Yes, Madam President. Next item is item number 14, resolution authorizing budget transfers, state fiscal year 2019, finance resolution 19369.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilwoman Cotton. Roll call on item number 14.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on
Does anyone have any discussions, by the way? Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 14. Be mindful that this resolution needs 6 affirmative votes. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Did you say yes?
Yes, you said we're on number 15, right?
14.
14.
Oh, 14, yes.
Thank you. Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy? Yes. Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 14 is hereby adopted.
Move to close.
Thank you very much, council members. I have a motion to close the regular meeting of Tuesday, what's today's date? June 24th?
25th.
Moved by Councilman Abdelaziz, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the regular meeting of June 25th, 2019. Councilman Abdelaziz?
I just want to wish all our graduates congratulations and wish them best of luck as they move on to the next level of education. I look forward to seeing many graduates in the next couple of days. Good night. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cotton?
Look how quick that was. That was fast.
We're closing.
I know, thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
I would just like to say, tomorrow night, I'm having my birthday celebration. It's my first joint birthday celebration with Councilwoman Ruby Cotton and former Councilman Ed Cotton. It's at the Neves Restaurant. If you're interested in coming, you can contact my daughter, Candace Cotton. I'm looking forward to it. We're married 43 years, and as of September, it'll be 44 years, but this is the first birthday celebration that we're doing together. So if you're able to come out, please do. I had a little mishap. I have to have surgery next week. I'm not sure when, but God is good. He's still letting me get up and walk around, see and talk and all that. So I just want to say to you all, and also to congratulations to all the graduates from the kindergarten to the 8th grade, to the high school, to the colleges. I want to wish you all well. I want to wish everyone a good time. Tomorrow is graduation for our entire city here in the city of Paterson. Everybody is graduating tomorrow, so I want to say congratulations to all. If I don't see you before this, the summer's coming, 4th of July is coming. Be safe. Let's take care of our city. Let's do the right thing. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Kalik?
Good night, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman McCoy?
Good night, my vote is yes.
Councilman Mims?
Before I close, I want to say congratulations to all of our graduates, elementary, high school, college, graduates all over the city of Paterson. If you're free, council members, tomorrow are our high school graduations throughout the city. As a former school board commissioner, I remember the days of being at all those graduations. But I commend even our pre-K. I forgot about our pre-K students as well. And special graduations to my grandson, who is graduating tomorrow morning, and I am the keynote speaker, and he doesn't know. So congratulations, Paterson, be safe. It's going to be an amazing summer. I'm praying for all of our young people and our middle age, and for all of the residents of the city of Paterson. God bless you. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Just a quick announcement. Eastside High School graduations tomorrow. Congratulations to all of them. Those individuals that travel to Market Street, there's going to be police enforcement in that area, so drive slow. Let the student cross the street safely. And congratulations to the Mighty Ghost class of 2019. Also, I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow at the Firehouse and McBride Avenue, it will be the job fair from 9 to 2. So those that are looking, they're seeking a profession that is not in the city, please go to the private sector. They pay more and they could do better over there. So that's a good thing. Let's be honest. I'm not gonna. And last but not least, there's been some improvement in the Fifth Ward regarding the pavement, resurface of the road, and just be with the construction company and those that are working there, because based on the weather, is that they could accelerate the work. And I know they left us this here, Mr. James Durham. Elvis Durham. He didn't say nothing about this, but yes, he told us that, listen, the 200 individuals, 200,000 people listening at this moment out there, Price Right is in town. So this is the shopper. Good night. God bless you all. And the next will be our council president, Marissa Dowd.
Thank you. So, council members, before you all get up and leave, please don't forget that our closeout meeting is this Friday, the 28th at 12 o'clock. Okay, so council members, please make sure to confirm that you will be here so we make sure to have quorum. I also want to commend Councilwoman Mims, your event, your summer white affair event, scholarship giving, laptop giving event was awesome. It really was. It was beautiful just to see the families there, the children of all parts of the city of Paterson. So I want to commend you. And then a special shout out to the firefighters who this morning, early in the morning, we all received that text message. Thank you, Director Spezial, for keeping us updated on everything that goes on in the city at all wee hours, but specifically to our firefighters that were out there, Chief McDermott and the entire team. Thank you. There was no one that was hurt. I do understand that there were various firemen who were sent to the hospital. I think it was for inhalation, probably. Don't know exactly what it was, but I just want to commend you all. our first responders is someone that we have to take care of in this city. And so I just want to commend you for that. And council members, thank you.
Madam President, before you vote, Councilman Velez, did you say yes to
He
close?
said yes.
Oh, you want me to say another announcement?
No.
Yes, I did vote
Thank you.
yes, yes.
Madam President, you can vote.
Okay, congratulations to all the graduates of 1999. My vote is yes, Madam
Thank you,
Clerk.
Madam President.
1999, like 1990.
I'm sorry, 2019. What am I saying 1999 for? Where am I? I'm sorry. You know why I said 1999? Because my son, that's a very important year for me. He was born in 1999.
Thank you.
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The regular meeting of June 25th, 2019 is hereby adjourned.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Madam
everyone.
Clerk. Thank you. Have a good night, Paterson.